you had a nice last millennium. And so the Iran thing, it's a happening. And here we
Anything
are.
happening.
As before, it's not my first choice, but here it is. So we got to deal
It
with it.
was not going to be. It was an inevitability of the state of geopolitics, which is unfortunate. I wish it wasn't.
I wouldn't disagree with that statement. Actually, I would say that. Well, according to what we found out in the meanwhile, actually, that's exactly what it was. Apparently, there was a planned attack, and Israel was just going to let the thing happen.
Marco Rubio,
And
by the way, clarified that it was not Israel's decision for us to go in.
no, no,
That was
that's what I was going to
entirely
say. As a
ours.
matter of fact, that Israel was just going
Yeah.
to kind of let the thing happen, and then have the casus belli. And Trump finds out about it, and he's like, "No, we're going to just go ahead and seize the initiative." If
Yeah, we decided to
I
just
mean,
get in there and fuck
I
things
can't
up
really
first.
say that's entirely supposition on my behalf, but
The point being
whether
that Trump
I'm
was
right or
very
I'm
clear that
wrong
it
as
was
to
his decision.
what he said, that is is what happened, and the initiative was seized, and any advantage that could have been gained by seizing the initiative by anyone else was lost by those parties. So, where many people, I was going to start off with something totally different. I'll get to it in a second. So, where many people were kind of expecting a very different course of events in this conflict, that Iran would be more capable, it is possible that under a better set of circumstances, they would have proven themselves to be tremendously more capable. But
Well,
they
see,
did
the
not
problem they
get the
had was
initiative.
we knew the problem they had was we knew where everything they had was, and their idea was to distribute everything amongst all the people and civilian infrastructure widely in such a way that it'd be very difficult to hit all their stuff at once. The problem is if we know where everything is, we can still hit it.
Well, that's the thing,
So
and we can say pretty
that's
objectively.
what they ran into. Is we knew where everything was, so we hit everything at once.
Well,
And so
again, we can
they
say
had
though
they
that
had
we didn't. Otherwise, there wouldn't be
well,
any continuing strikes. That said,
let me put it like this: if you look at the amount of stuff they were able to launch on day one, it was rather small. And then if you look at the continuing ability to launch stuff at us, it drops off like an exponential function. And the reason why it does that is because every time they launch, our boys at Space Force see it, and within a few minutes, we fuck up wherever it came from.
that is true. That is true, and that was
So
another
the
point
nice
I
thing
was
about what we're
wanting to
seeing
make
right
about
now
this too.
is the nice thing we're seeing right now is exactly what the military is capable of when it's given what it needs, which is specific, simple, direct objectives that are achievable within a small time frame. When you say go and destroy this little building, like and make it a crater, we are very good at that. And so every time they launch a rocket, we get a new crater.
Yeah, so it's a target. So
So that is what they're dealing with right now is the fact that they're not able to strike at us without us immediately removing the ability of that place from striking again.
and
Which
that's what's
sucks for
happened.
Iran.
Basically, they're being
Also,
constantly deprecated in their ability
let me
to
go ahead
fight.
and mention this also. Their Navy annoyed us a little bit, and their Air Force annoyed us slightly. So what we did was we removed their Navy and their Air Force. They no longer have either of those. So over 24 boats gone, and all their planes gone.
Rest in peace, Tomcat.
We slapped those out of the way. They were gone. All of the boats that we destroyed, we offered them the ability to surrender. They did not surrender, and so they disappeared. I believe, however, they did find one boat that was at port at some fucking island, and I'm guessing that's probably one of the few boats that have left, technically. Although my guess is that officially they would be considered mutineers or abandoned. So AWOL.
Yeah, in the current climate, even if I was a big big Iran guy, like big, Ayatollah's my guy, Iranian. I would probably just go ahead and say, hey, everybody, it's really cool not having any missiles or gunfire raining down on us. So what do you say
Hey guys,
we just?
so about the Bahamas.
So what do you say we just call it? And we'll just call it here, and then it'll be good.
Here's the thing that's stupid is you find people online who are upset that we have told their boats not to touch our boats, and then they said, "Nah, we want to touch you," and then we sank their boats. Like, you shouldn't do that. This is war. That's a war crime. It's like, that's exactly how we're supposed to be fought. You break their shit.
And that's
you break their shit until
that's
they
a
stop
not
wanting to break your shit.
Well, that's also I can kind of feel what you're talking about here, so we might as well discuss that real quickly. The whole Indian Navy thing, which
that was stupid.
Well, yeah, and to be fair, it's
hello, boys.
Hey, just referencing the Indian Navy thing with
speaking of Indians, welcome, Steve.
Well, we were going to do this whole thing. I thought you weren't coming, and we were really afraid that you weren't going to make your coming out moment. It's going to be like, I was told that this was going to be like a whole Netflix adaptation of like what Craig comes out as, but you're here, so I guess you can keep pretending. I told Evan that he needed to summon you with your siren song of penis, but he thinks the shekels are more appropriate.
To be fair, it is a St. Albans double-headed double eagle Liberty coin, but it is still very shiny and very nice and very pretty.
If Craig does not see a dude spread eagle, he's not coming. In all of the ways that we can say that word.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's you.
So
you
Steve's day
that.
is going well, it seems.
Oh yeah, it's been. I keep hoping that I'm going to get to my electrical stuff, and it's like a mixture of baby stuff, and like I have a month left before I go back to work, and I'm trying to start settling up an evening routine. But that means dropping the baby in the bassinet upstairs. You need a baby monitor of some sort.
Yes,
which that puts me at like, huh?
I said there are overpriced options, which you do not have to build yourself.
No, that's true. But we decided, and I think it's going to be more expensive than a baby monitor anyways, which is ironic, right? But we decided what we were going to try to do is we're going to try to do blink cameras and stream that to the Alexa. Seemed like a really wise choice. Then you find out that the blink cameras have an arbitrary 5-minute limit unless you pay for the subscription service, and then they have a 90-minute limit. Right?
This is retarded
and then this is retarded shit, right? So you Google it, and who doesn't? It's the Google Nest Cams. So I get a Nest Cam, and that can stream to Alexa. Except then you find out that Amazon has imposed a 10-minute hard limit on how long they'll allow a stream to run, despite the fact that they actually do advertise these things as like
do one of those
monitors.
open home systems things. Actually, oddly enough, Linus Tech Tips has some great content on how to set up your own personal smart home. To run it from your own home cloud.
I am sure, but that requires a lot of work.
Alexa. Well, it just to run your own little. You can pick up like a Dell auction used corpo box as a home server.
But what I'm going to end up doing, what we decided to do as our option was, so we bought the Nest camera because that does comfortably streams for at least 12 hours on pretty much anything. Yeah. And then the question is, do we do a Google Home Hub and then stream to that, which that would work. What I tried to do was I tried to get a Google streamer for, originally I had an On Pro 4K, but then Google basically locked out the Google Home stuff from anything that's not Google proprietary. So it's a software lock on those devices.
Yeah.
Despite the fact it's running Android TV, which really pissed me off. So I went out today, returned my Google On Pro streamer, got a Google 4K streamer, and it was supposed to have like picture in picture. And I was just gonna like take all of my smart TV stuff that's on my TV and pay the extra $100 to have essentially a baby monitor, right? A baby monitor with a decent camera that can stream all the time, no major problems, right? Not something that's only ever going to be a baby monitor, and turns out that that doesn't do picture in picture. I don't know why it doesn't do picture in picture.
A thought came to mind here. Even if you go the proprietary route, which is fine, you can treat it as a bit of a training session to do the whole house for security purposes, because I think that lowers your home insurance premiums.
Well, what we decided to end up doing is just I'm going to return the Google 4K streamer, and we'll continue to get Nest cams, and because Nest cams constantly stream 24/7, you can tap into them on any Google device. And I'm just going to buy a tablet.
Yeah.
And a cheap open box tablet. I can get a Samsung for like $130. So am I paying more for that than I am for a baby monitor system? Yes. Is it more open-ended and flexible and I can use it after the baby's done? Yes. Is it probably higher quality?
Probably can populate out with Nest cams. You can. I'm pretty sure that it drops your home insurance by at least that amount.
It might.
Like, I know if you put up Ring cams and stuff, they get all happy about it, which, obviously it's all just violating your own privacy, but...
Yeah, there is that.
Yep.
Your mileage may vary on that kind of shit.
Yeah, I know. But, so that's kind of what I'm going to do. I just, like, when I was looking in Walmart, if I could get a baby monitor for more than, like, or something that was flexible, right? A flexible baby, but they started like $113. So I'm like,
yeah, well,
113 anyways. But like,
new parents are stupid and flooded with everything for your baby is better if it's our product. So and new parents fall for that, which is basically the strategy.
I don't doubt that. It's just, it is a wild thing to be like, well, I could spend $200 and start building out a security camera system and have it tied into a tablet, or I can spend $100 or $115 or whatever and do a proprietary system that only works for baby monitoring. Like, what am I going to choose? Well, I'm probably going to want to do more than one baby monitor, right? I'm going to probably want to install a camera and walk away from it, and I'm probably going to have a camera upstairs and a camera downstairs. And a tablet allows me to, like, carry it around, right? Like, we can just move it. I can have a stand in the kitchen. I can have a stand in the living room, and whichever camera it is, we can just expand that capacity as time goes on.
Yep.
Like, that's the sane, rational approach.
It is.
So that's what we're going to do.
I would probably not go with the Google integration, but, either way, it's still a good idea in practice. I
mean, Google's better than the others. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're sketchy as shit, right?
Not go with any of them, personally, but, that's me.
Yeah, but, there's different set of priorities here. He's not...
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're probably looking for...
I agree with you. If I was a single dude...
yeah,
sure. If I'm a single dude, I agree with you. But...
Well, yeah. I mean, you do have to, like, work and do a family thing, and building out your own whole system is a little bit of a thing. So fair enough. Yeah. Oh, but you had mentioned guys being spread eagle, and that is something I was wanting to talk about tonight.
That's a big thing for Craig.
Well, actually, no. So out of
you're saying that Craig doesn't like it spread eagle? Oh yes. He
does.
does.
I can't verify that, but this does come from Florida.
I have it on good authority from his mom.
Oh, I couldn't say either way, but coming out of Florida here from James Fishback, who's looking to be doing some representing out of there. He had this to say.
He is polling it under 1% because he is such an awesome guy.
Yeah. Well, he
would happily tell you otherwise, Mr. Ineligible to run in Florida, but that's his thing.
Well, either way, he did have something smart to say today.
Mr. Domiciled in D.C.
Anyway, he had this to say, and that was that Lindsey Graham has never seen a country he doesn't want to bomb or a man he
I
doesn't
agree with
want
that.
to. Well, same, I do too as well. But he had a follow up, which I have to draw a little bit of
Everybody has
a
oxygen.
line on, and that is that he also said as well, or a man he doesn't want to sleep with. So I would say
again,
that
sky's blue.
Lindsay does actually seem like a fairly faithful, whatever you call that, toady.
Significant other, I think, is the word that the euphemism of today.
Okay.
Versus
So
partner.
roommate. Oh, roommate. Yeah. So he seems like a very faithful roommate, and so probably not every guy that he sees. Just most of them.
Oh, I think bombing is possibly a euphemism in his case sometimes.
Oh, it could be, but the bit on the countries, though, I'd say that you'd be hard pressed to find a place that he wouldn't.
Well,
be
look,
happy
I mean,
I mean,
guessing that
send the troops in, too.
the South Park caricature of Trump is probably partly geared towards him. Just gonna fuck them all to death seems kind of like his strategy.
I think what's wild to me with the Trump approach to foreign policy, right, is I sit there and I ask myself, was I a hypocrite under Biden? Because I am generally anti-war, but like part of the reason that I'm anti-war is that 9 times out of 10, the U.S. is getting itself mired in a conflict with a country that we haven't heard of and nobody cares about, right? There are 4 nations
slightly different
that are a giant pain in our ass, right? And these guys are not necessarily. This isn't like we have ideological differences in how things are done. I mean, obviously that comes into play, but they're a giant pain in our ass. They are constantly posturing. They're constantly attempting to undermine us. They're constantly interceding, and that's Russia, China, Iran, and I can't remember which one the other one is. Ah, damn it.
Is it a stand?
Oh, North Korea.
Yeah.
It's North Korea, right? The 4 of those are just constantly a pain in the ass. Now, North Korea is a relatively isolated beast, but it's basically like I am sure that a significant portion of their funding comes from the other 3 basically giving it money to go develop stuff that they can't like let other people see, right? China is an economic powerhouse, although it seems less so. I think that their inflation or their
they have some very
population count
serious
is inflated.
internal issues that they're dealing with right now.
They have internal issues. It seems that their population count's exaggerated, and their population
that is a funny
was
one that I'm not certain of. The meme that they might only have 800 million or 400 million is pretty fucking funny to me.
If you go through
have that many.
Okay. If you go through the calculation, like it's probably pretty accurate. And there's another question.
It's funny that's one of the things that they're so proud of that they feel the need to lie about. It's just like, okay, it's how many people you have. I mean,
well, don't forget, right? The population of your country is somewhat related to its economic prospects, right?
Yeah, well, I mean,
India's
they
different.
also make that shit up too.
I get that, but like, it fundamentally is. High population is a good thing for a country. The idea that we're going to run out of pies to bake or something like that. The problem with illegal immigration is that it boosts our population numbers, but it boosts our population numbers with undesirable labor, right? Or undesirable individuals, many of which who are unskilled labor.
People. Yes.
Right? But if you turn around and talked about a nation that has, a reasonable gentrified class or middle class or whatever, larger population make thing go, right? And make graph go up much faster. And somehow the United States has gotten into this habit of our people are not very valuable. And I don't know how we got to that decision-making process, but that is
Barack
a
Obama
weird
had a lot to do with
ethos
that.
here.
Although there has been a concerted effort up until his time as well. So, just to be fair.
So it's not just him, right? Like there's been a lot of people making the argument that people aren't valuable, and that's just not true. So that's why China lies about that. But yeah, so
now to be
like,
fair, not all people are valuable because India, but
we have Venezuela, Iran. Or sorry, the 4th one was Venezuela. That was not Korea. North Korea, but Venezuela. So
say North Korea,
Trump
you
has,
kind of pacified with choice.
yeah, I was trying to remember. It's Venezuela. So what we have so far is we have Russia has basically been obliterated for all intents and purposes, right? And that was a policy started under Biden. What's that?
They kind of self-immolated.
Yeah, they self-immolated. But
let's carry out this 3-day action for several years.
And as much as I didn't like a lot of what the Biden admin did about the Ukraine war in terms of their information suppression and like going after anybody who disagreed with them, and even a lot of their tactics, right? Like, I have to admit that the security state had a brilliant strategy. And if they'd come out front and said, yeah, we're going to give weapons to the Ukrainians to grind down the Russian military because that's in our best interest, I'd been like, yeah, that sounds actually probably not too bad. And that's essentially what Trump has continued doing for the last year. Well, I know he's made some efforts to end the war.
Shit is great for getting new shit.
Yeah, it's and then on top of that, it's like an accounting. It's an accounting thing, and that was the other thing that I think the Biden admin did not properly explain to people like me, is if they said, yeah, these are all old reserves. Like, we're not giving them, when we give them $160 billion in aid, we're not giving them $160 billion. We're sending them the stuff that we already spent $160 billion on, and it's been retired.
We're overcharging them for our old shit.
Right. Like, it's an accounting thing. We get to write it off. I would have been like, okay. And there were articles that came out, but these were not the claims that were made by the Dems wanted to posture that we were giving them top tier shit, but we didn't. We ground the Russians to dust with our our shit from 4 or 5 generations ago. It's F-15s and F-16s.
I was gonna say the stuff we have in fucking Kuwait.
Yeah, it's the stuff from the 50s.
F-15s that we're throwing in Iran too. Like
that was so
we
funny.
All that shit to Ukraine. We gave all that shit to Ukraine, and we still have it left over. Like
when all of those news organizations, I know that was the crazy thing. The news organizations, they come out and they say, a couple F-15s were down. Our F-15s were downed with friendly fire, and you're like, wait a minute. Why are we fighting Iran with F-15? Why do we have our own pilots in F-15s? Like,
no, they've got to find a plane
Top
for
Gun.
Female pilots.
I think it's
Top Gun in 1980. Top Gun in 1980 was flying F-16s at the time that the U.S. Navy was fielding F-18s.
Yeah.
The most recent Top Gun, right, the new one, was flying F-18s when we're fleeting F-35s.
Just to be clear.
Yeah, the 22 Raptor isn't even in there.
The 22 Raptor is a forgotten mistake of expense.
Yeah.
I mean, F-35s are
another.
But when they turn around and they came out and they said our F-15s were accidentally shot down by Kuwaiti anti-aircraft because they didn't identify themselves.
You know what this tells me?
Wait,
what? This tells me is we need more F-15s. This is what it tells me. That's just fucking, because they're like the F-35 is $2.2 billion or whatever the fuck it is for each one of them. F-15's gotta be what, like 10 million?
I think they were like they were like 115 mil a piece or something like. Well,
I mean, like today, if you wanted to build them with spare parts.
Oh yeah. Like the F-15s getting shot down. Half of me wonders if part of the reason that they were actually flying the F-15s is they wanted them to get shot down, because that way when Russia sits there and finds out what gets shut down and China finds out what gets shot down, they think we're actually just fielding our old gen fighters against all of their new gen equipment. That would be quite the headline, mind you, right?
That's like
5 generations. The tech from 5 generations ago obliterated all of your anti-air stuff, right? We ran top tier shit in Venezuela to walk in, get Maduro, and leave with no losses.
That's the funny thing is, we walked through China's security. All of it.
Did.
None of it worked.
Yep.
None of it.
And
not a fucking single bit of it. All of it sucked.
And this time we did
from China.
We did the exact same thing down in Iran. Exact same fucking thing. We walked straight through all their shit.
Yep.
The only people who took us down were our allies using our systems against our planes. Right? Nobody else has been shot down. Right?
All that happened was we had a trigger happy Ivan, going, Kuwait's just a little too hot out here. Let's just go ahead and shoot at everything.
One of the things the admin has come out multiple times and said is they run a lot of these PSYOP campaigns on military hardware, right? I think that they did go hard charging at Venezuela with our top tier shit. And it just showed how technologically advanced we are in comparison to the rest of the fucking world. But in Iran, if they're still fielding F-15s, if we're still fielding F-15s, that's basically dragging your nutsack. Like, we're teabagging these motherfuckers. That's what we're doing. We're basically going in and saying, China, your shit isn't even as good as our old shit.
I think because Iran was going to take longer, it wasn't as mission critical to get it done like in 12 hours. That was when we kind of gave ourselves permission to use the old stuff too. Because like if it was like we need this done today, we would have gone in with everything we've got early on and just slapped them. I think that we kind of probably should have, but we knew that we were going to have to go through multiple layers of multiple committees.
To be fair, on all of this, there are B-52s flying over Iran right now. So if you needed any more evidence of complete aerial domination, I
mean, to be fair, there's a handful of planes that we own that we have not found a way to replace because they were just that good. The A-10 is one of those planes.
Yeah.
The B-52 is the other one. Right? Like they are just so good at their mission that no matter how often we attempt to replace them, it's just not worth it. Like the B-52, like the payload capacity of a B-52 is just
it's gone up because we refitted them.
Yeah. And I'm sure it did.
Oh yeah, they're significantly more capable than ever they were.
They went from 24 bombs to 36 bombs, and now they can strap bombs to the outside.
Yeah, somehow these things fly.
Capacity. They have double in capacity, and they fly still. It's nuts.
Somehow, the lift that those planes. The lift that those planes generate is huge. Yeah. It's insane. Like the lift that the B-52 generates is absolutely nuts.
Like they are lifting like was that like 1.5 times the plane's mass in just fucking firepower.
Yeah, something like that.
It's
ridiculous.
Up
on screen here. I've got an article about it, but just to take a look at the weapons loadout, it's like it's pretty terrifying how much firepower one of those things carries.
And I believe...
And on top of that, it's got a battery of cruise missiles.
Yeah. If we don't want something to be there, we can make it not there anymore.
But the biggest part of that is it's a big old flying house. A big old slow house.
So I had the opportunity to go into one when I was younger. I don't know if have either of you?
I've been to an air show. They didn't let us in it, but I got to see one parked on the ground, and it was terrifyingly large.
They're really cool.
It's terrifyingly large.
So we got to go in, and this was back when they allowed you to like sit down into the little like the front under the nose turret. Like there's a little line you had to queue up, and all of us little teeny kids got to go and hop down in there and go ooh and then get the fuck out.
Which is now basically an electronic suite, but anyway.
Yeah, it's that has become a sensory hub. Pretty fucking nuts.
Well, makes sense.
Yeah, it's a great word to be.
But it's one of those things. Like that's one of the planes. Like I know everybody, the B-2 is getting a lot of love, which is amazing because for a while, like you didn't know about the B-2 unless you were into aerospace engineering. Like it wasn't secret that we had them.
It was just like nobody really talked about it very much because it wasn't the big flashy thing.
It wasn't the big flashy thing. They didn't get deployed all that much.
I remember everyone was talking about the SR-71 instead of the B-2.
SR-70, yeah, because they were going to retire that. My father was going to work on the Aurora project, which is what replaced the SR-71.
Right.
But we also have, let's see, there is a stealth fighter that we have that nobody still talks about. So I don't even know if we ever.
Yeah.
You have no idea whether they ever deployed them or whether they're just so successful that they just don't want to talk about the fact that
if I had a really successful stealth plane, nobody would know about it. I think that's kind of the point.
No, we know about it. What is it? It's the F-17, I think, isn't it?
I mean, like, if it was deployed ever or not. Like, it would just be, well, it could have been, but that's a national secret. Sorry.
And there was also a huge controversy 5-6 years ago where people thought, based on some satellite imagery, that China may have captured one or was working on a stealth plane. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
The theory is, and so China has been popularizing the notion that they have effectively their own version of a B-2, and that's bigger and stealthier or some shit. It's like they just painted a rendering of our B-2 red. Like that's their big thing.
Let me see here. I believe they refer to it as their Jean HX or H20.
They have a save game. That's what they have.
Let me see here. They
if they painted it red, it goes faster.
Of course, and if it's bigger, then it's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like all information points to it's just conceptual and nothing's even a thing.
Yeah, because they haven't done shit because they just want to. Like I said, it's a bit of software.
And then just a quick note here: July 2022, was it Xinhua News? It looks like it was. That reported the H-20 was close to making its maiden flight.
Uh-huh.
So, what's the H-20?
Look, guys.
The Xi'an H-20, the ship.
The stealth bomber.
Yeah, they're equivalent.
I mean, I like how they're telling us when it's going to fly so we can look at it and then send them pictures and tell them it's not that stealthy.
I mean, I think the thing that we've learned with Israeli and American intelligence. So I have two things to say on this. One, Israeli and American intelligence is scary good. Number two,
don't accept the pager from Benjamin Netanyahu.
It does make October 7th look kind of sketch.
You think?
With how good they are about the finding Iranian targets, the fact that they didn't know that one of their chief
kind of points to this, because if we knew that they were going to let something happen, and then we decided to not let it happen, that points towards October 7th in a different light.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, October 7th took place under a different set of auspices, shall we say, as well.
Well, so they also the claim, the notion, which I don't have any reason not to believe at this point in time, besides the impetus for going into Iran. The claimed notion is that they expected that they were going to come from the north, and they came. They thought there was going to be Houthi involvement, or not Houthi, Hezbollah involvement, and turned out it was just Hamas. So, that's an entirely different threat window if you're expecting an incursion from the north and then going after Tel Aviv versus going after everything right next to Gaza.
No.
So they basically it's how the funny notion of France in World War II, they're facing the wrong fucking direction. It's exactly like that.
I mean, it could be, but
there's the other part of maybe Benjamin Netanyahu shouldn't have created Hamas in the first place. Just saying.
Well, it's you take that up with the retards who gave away Sinai and then decided that there should be an election and give away Gaza.
So let me. I'm gonna be critical of you, Craig. Craig, I think that you're biased. Now, Craig, you and I have the same bias. because in all seriousness, my closest friends and family growing up were Jews.
I'm just gonna go ahead and stop you there and go fucking duh. But thank you for pointing it out because it should be.
Right, but like that's the thing, right? Like, I think that when I take a look at how good, when you talk about the intelligence gathering to kill Alchemy,
I'm just saying that as I said, that the reason that I don't have reason beyond what we're currently talking about with Iran to suspect that there is a lie involved with saying that they were expecting an attack from the north instead of from the south.
But again, right, you take a look at all the level of intelligence that they have and the level of intelligence that they've demonstrated.
This is why I cited the current context.
Yeah.
I said I have no reason besides what we're currently talking about right now to suspect.
Yeah, if you go back to October 7th and you put me in the same mindset, I'd be still in so they got surprised. They were caught with their pants down. At this point, after the first Iran 12-day war and this conflict, where like day 2, they took out the fucking leader of the country without even using special bombs. Like, they knew that the non-special bombs that only the U.S. has could take him out, and they knew exactly where he was. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with they probably knew what was going on.
The funny thing is, like right now, what we're touting, as with combined, is that we are capable of putting a missile through the fucking bedroom window of whoever we want and to take them out.
Yep.
Without impacting like the rest of the fucking building, let alone their neighbors.
Yep. And oh yeah, by the way, we can do that, and we know exactly when they're there, when they arrive, and when they plan to leave. And now you're going to tell me that you didn't know that a handful of
this is where I have some questions.
Right, like
this is where I start to have some questions.
I'm not saying I'm just saying that I don't think the OPSEC of Hamas is better than that of the entire state of Iran.
So
I'm not saying it's not.
What's the way? Well, from what we know, right now.
Well, you had the pager.
The idea was that Israel is going to let Iran. The idea was that Israel is going to let Iran do something, and then we were going to join Israel with the retaliation. That Israel was just basically going to wait for us to get involved. It's like, okay, so we were just going to get involved anyway. We should just go in while we don't lose assets.
Well, that is the crux of things. That's the whole it is what it is part of things. Because, I mean, the thing to do there would honestly, really, the thing to do would be, well, maybe you shouldn't have poked him so much. But that's not what's going to happen, realistically. So, here we are. And, the problem's got to be resolved. And speaking of being poked so much, it's just kind of a segue, but directly related. We didn't have a bunch of really dumb shit coming out of Syria other than the rebels back when the Lion, Bashar, was in charge. And I don't know if you guys caught this exchange that happened, I believe this was just yesterday, between one of the official Syrian government accounts and Uwu Underground.
I saw that.
Uwu Underground.
Oh, well, you didn't catch it. Okay.
Hentai.
Well, then I'll just read out this exchange. You and of course throw a link in there. It's since been archived, but it has been deleted. Believably not. So this Uwu Underground sent out something to which the Syrian government account SYSCFPAE with the gray check mark and everything replies, "I thought this was a hentai." To which Uwu Underground replies, "Black Lagoon is not hentai. However, there is a non-zero chance of hentai getting posted by our member Yuki." To which the Syrian government account replies, "Link." Uwu Underground replies back, "I just want to make sure I'm reading this right, and the Syrian government is asking us for hentai links." To which the Syrian government replies, "No." And to which Uwu Underground then replies, "Ah, yeah. Wink, wink. We get ya. What link would you like? It's okay. We can provide." To which the Syrian government account replies, lesbian hentai 18-21. So, boy, you want to talk about a far way to fall. Not even Kim is falling for bait like that. I mean, goodness.
Now, so the person in charge was laughing their ass off, and apparently there's like 4 people in charge of that, and one was saying that another would, is going to be kicking themselves for the rest of their life for not being awake for that, like they had just gone to sleep.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
So they came I guess there's a few people that I'm vaguely acquainted with that are also acquainted with them. I have to reach so Savvy is one of them. I think she talks to them. But anyway, I'm guessing that was the long and short of it was that they had that little thread and then it ended. I don't know if they actually.
It was all deleted shortly thereafter.
Well, I don't know if
unsurprisingly,
the DMs thing I was going to get to was. Anyway, yeah, it's silly stuff.
Quite silly. So let me see here. There's there we go. Got it.
That's Syria for you.
It was a much more serious place once.
And
this is without even talking about the fucking.
Hold on. I have to say something. This one, they got Japan, man. They got bombed into.
Not really, because they're just having hentai. Yeah, but with only the rape and the murder. It's like they bombed them into fucking Demon City Shinjuku.
You see, now you're going into the nomenclature of shit that I have no idea what to talk about.
Yeah.
That's
this
one that's
is some serious weeaboo shit.
Supposed to know, I guess. I don't know. It's an old one. Or actually, I probably just said something that people won't even know at all. What was Nobody's it? AMVs and shit back in the early 2000s. So anyway, whatever. Speaking of something that you mentioned earlier.
Jargon, sir.
Yeah, there you go. See, you guys are engineers. Anyway.
What about it?
Well, you got your own technical jargon. So there. Anyway.
Lies.
That does not well, all right.
Okay then. Anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So
I have a lot to add to that now.
No, that's fair. So anyway, as I was saying, sanctions on Russian oil. So there's been a bit of an issue with oil in the world today, if you can believe that.
There's been a bit of not an issue. There has been a bit of a change in management.
Well, that depends on your hemisphere. As far as the Eastern Hemisphere,
it's been a change in management.
Well, not really. The biggest change is that it's not really flowing as a lot of people would like it to.
The Strait of Hormuz right now? That's a change in management.
Well, kind of nobody, and one party is being an asshole about it, unless you're China. So it's whatever.
They only have one party.
Well, exactly. So there you go. Either way, though, that has put a big hurt on. Basically,
yeah, China's gotten kicked right in the nuts. That was part of the whole point of all this, by the way.
They have.
It's pretty obvious if you look at it.
They have, and it has been very.
Yeah,
very
and
as a matter of fact, the point that they're trying to get.
I saw that, but you know what actually kind of pisses me off is that Trump stepped up and said that we're going to start backing the ships going through the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
If we turned around and just let that be, I know that they are, but if we just let that be, it wouldn't phase us. Right, it's not the Red Sea, right? It's not that. Like, stuff can still go out the Mediterranean.
You gotta keep in mind.
Can still get to us.
You gotta keep in mind that China and America are held together by what stopped the 100 Years' War in Europe, by what stopped the Spanish War with UK. We are bound to them by trade, and that's why we need them to not just collapse overnight. Because right now, if they just stop manufacturing shit because they ran out of oil, our country gets hurt. This is why, like, the whole, that's the calculus.
I hear you, but I
said
think
overnight
that
for a
the
reason.
blow.
Like,
I think the
reason.
bigger hit. Come on, bro. I'm trying to get my check in. My family leave check. It finally came in this week, and I'm just too lazy to go cash my $4,000.
Ah, well, you'll have to wait till Monday.
I mean, you can send
You
it
can
down
go down to
here
the
if you
check
want.
cashing place, though. Maybe they'll give you a deal on it.
Nah. I'm gonna. I'm trying to get it all done. 368,559. Continue. And then I have to say, flip the check over and endorse.
Oh, yeah, well, actually, that kind of segues well into the point I was wanting to make here about Russia, oil, and this whole situation. You know, there's been they're getting some of their gibs back. You know, and there's going to be some sanctions lifted on some of that Russian oil that's just been sitting around because, India, they're growing economy. They've got a lot of cars, a lot of vehicles, a lot of chemical processes, a lot of stuff that needs crude oil. And there's a whole big old bunch of Russian oil that's just sitting out there waiting to be sold. And by golly, that's basically what's going to be happening.
Really happy.
So there's a lot of people that are really, really upset about this, as you might imagine. But too bad.
Cool. All right, money.
So
exactly.
So similar sphere of influence over there. So China has about 100 days worth of energy or oil in reserve because it started hoovering them up. Via those ships we've been capturing since we figured it out. We've been hoovering up oil to prepare for this kind of strategy that we've gone down. Now, again, we want them to be able to get oil out of the Strait of Hormuz because we don't want them to stop manufacturing our stuff.
Yeah, but
here's the deal: they are no longer getting like a 20% discount for being China.
No, I agree that they're not getting the discount, but
the insurance thing is fucking hilarious because we are right now basically replacing Lloyd of London. UK wanted to fuck with us.
Now
there
is actually a point to what you've just mentioned there, because the U.S. could actually supplant Lloyd's of London as the provider, which would potentially position us very powerfully.
Nation states will start moving to service providers, and different nations will subscribe to their services. Like El Salvador will be a prison state, right? And the world will eventually send people to El Salvador because their prisons are cheaper and they're well managed.
I think we're also kind of
the U.S. will be the military.
We're kind of learning that there's a disadvantage to this kind of global national specialization at the global scale. We've already learned this from 2020. From just manufacturing. Like, China can't be the manufacturing base of critical assets and critical infrastructural assets.
Well, that's not entirely true. They're actually very good at manufacturing and releasing bioweapons on the world. So we do have to give them credit where it's due.
Military, not infrastructure.
When I say services, right, like, I'm not saying goods, right?
I know.
Services are very different. Like, I think governments can provide services. I don't think they're good at providing goods. I think a government's very good at providing services. It's not a service, though.
Manufacturing is a service. I would argue that is a service.
No, I think that the good is the value, right? The service is not the service.
The labor is the service.
No, because you're paying for the good. Yeah, the labor gets factored into it, but you're buying the goods. Services are more like
make our plastics.
If I turned around, let's say we started sending prisoners to El Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting anything from El Salvador. I'm getting rid of a problem, right?
Right.
Let's say people started paying the United States military for coverage of their stuff, right? Basically, instead, let's do away with NATO, let's do away with the UN. You're going to subscribe to. They're paying for missiles, right? That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're not paying for. No. Hold on. They're not paying for missiles because they're not even necessarily getting missiles.
No, they're paying for a missile subscription
for
service.
the security guarantee.
So that's Europe and NATO and the UN. If we want to claim that as a model, that's been a model for the last 70 years, 80 years.
No, I don't think they've tried to do that, but it hasn't actually been a working model.
Well,
we tried to do this
China,
global defense.
We send them with China. We send them plastic. They send us completed goods.
Then they pour the rest into the ocean. But yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, sure. They pollute and fuck things up. But I'm just saying, we send them raw materials. They send us finished materials. So manufacturing is the service.
I don't know if I understand.
Yeah,
I think that you're. That's. I think I understand what you're saying. I think that's not the point, right?
Right.
A government can provide. Yeah, a government can provide a social level service. A government cannot provide a good
right.
or.
So we provide alphabet people propaganda.
Yeah, but there ain't nobody paying for that.
This is for free. The rest will cost you. This is the price you pay for being protected.
I mean, if you really want to turn around and get a selling point for Iran's existence, LGBT propaganda is probably the key.
Oh, speaking of which, I've noticed that a lot of the anti-ICE people have not got the update. They are not protesting correctly. I haven't seen. I'm seeing people out here that have still got signs that are saying "fuck ICE." What are they doing? Like, these people they're like 2 weeks behind.
They're desperate for sex. That's all.
Well, yeah, but you're not going to get it that way. I mean, the new thing is Iran.
Oh, they're going to get a different kind that way.
Oh, that's not true. So the funniest thing, I really do love. I love. There's aspects of the internet that I love and aspects of the internet I hate. I kind of wish fewer people had access to the internet, but I'm really glad I do. And it's not that fair. Like they are not reasonable. Protesting. They're not protesting against the United States versus Iran. They're coming in and saying that they're sitting there and propagandizing that Iran is actually winning this war, which is hilarious.
I fucking love that.
Well, they're holding out their best weapons, don't you know?
They're arguing.
What they've been softening up all the defenses this whole time, don't you know?
Right. Yeah. So, I don't think they're protesting. Their argument is that Trump's ineffective, which is a funny one to make, and it hasn't really
watching AOC's
there's not much you can do.
Expression as she tries to articulate this and out of her own face hole is fucking great because her
what did she try to say?
She tried to explain how Trump is ineffective, and she had this bug-eyed expression, and you could tell the gears were grinding hard, teeth were missing.
Smoke
was coming out of the ears,
Oh, speaking of which, this was one of the things I was wanting to touch on in the beginning of the show because I haven't seen a lot of folks really dig into this. So, Jake Long was in New York today leading a protest or an anti-protest or something against...
the dipshit. The guy who kicked over the letter of the ice sculpture.
Well, yeah. Well, he's back at his thing, and I don't know. Maybe
I would say if you're looking for someone to prop up as a figurehead in the right or in the conservative, he is not the guy to do that. He is a moron.
Oh, well, he's an activist, so that's fine. I mean,
exactly.
He's less caustic than Laura Loomer, which isn't saying much, but it is saying something.
He hasn't popped his own tires yet, right?
Yeah, and I've never seen him, handcuff himself to a,
He hasn't replaced his face with a Joker mask yet.
Yeah, I mean, he has actually been literally attacked by people as opposed to, we'll call them ghosts, to be nice. Anyway, and speaking of which, and being attacked by literal real people. So he was attacked on stream today by some guy that shouted Loha Akbar and threw an actual grenade. Now, to be completely clear,
Homemade,
we're not talking
but
about,
actual.
you pull the pin, you count to 3, it goes cling, you throw it. We're talking about somebody, just like we were talking about. They aren't very smart. And in this case, Jake Lang, you can say, thank fucking goodness. Because it was, from what I understand, don't know the exact composition, but it was some sort of accelerant and a bunch of nails, screws.
I was going to say,
and
it was
bolts.
IED material. That was shrapnel.
It was wrapped up tight in a glass jar, had the fuse, guy lit it, and it just didn't go off when he threw it.
Think small version of what the Sarnaya brothers used.
Yeah, basically. So,
no pressure cooker, just a glass jar.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, at the time, the guy was like, "Man, that stinks. What's that?" And now we've since learned that it was quite literally just a small IED. Mm-hmm. And the hope, obviously, being that it would...
what was the target?
Jake Lang.
Jake Lang.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was meant to do as much damage as possible.
Who is Jake Lang? I hate to ask that,
he's a retard.
He's a provocative protester.
He's a provocateur, an activist.
Yeah, provocateur would be an accurate thing.
He's similar to Nick Fuentes, and I don't want to stain him with that name, but he's similar to Nick Fuentes in that he likes to attach himself to things.
But he attaches himself to more reasonable topics.
He's more reasonable in his approach, but he does say a lot of dumb shit.
Well,
I'll give you an example.
I've actually
example relevant today. He brought a cooked pig with him. It was an anti-Islam protest.
One of those guys. I think I know who you're talking about. Now, that being said, I've listened to Fuentes a few times. He's not as bad as a lot of people make him out to be.
He's a dipshit.
I don't know. I think it would be poor choice to underestimate him. I do think that he's wrong about a lot of things, but that's like sitting there and saying water is wet from an engineering perspective.
Yep.
But that said, he's been attacked at a previous thing where he was demonstrating, and he did go directly into the group of. That's not entirely accurate. He went into an area that was easily accessed by people that hated everything that he had to stand for. But he did go in there with a roast pig, looks like, at the Upper East Side.
So there was a massive counter protest to him, and this terrorist decided to sneak in the middle of that and throw a glass jar filled with explosive accelerants and.
Did they figure out who it is?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, the guy got his face smashed into the concrete. It's pretty fucking great.
But he was in Minneapolis last month, or I guess it's early in this month. So it was either last month or the month before, and he got ripped down from where he was. A guy tried to stab him. He's been getting. He's a provocateur, but he's genuine. He's actually going into dangerous places, putting himself into literal danger to get out these stories. And yes, to make a point, to be fair, but he's really out there and he's really doing it, and he's putting his life on the line twice now that people have literally gone after him with weapons. And he's always wearing a tactical vest with plates, which is probably wise.
He should.
It's unfortunate, right? I guess I don't. I remember sitting there and dealing with the should the KKK be able to occupy a library space, and the argument is yes, and then you get into trans story time, and that's the downside that you have for extremism, right? Because that's what the left basically countered with, is that if you can do it, we can do this crazy ass shit. The tough part that you have is he's absolutely an agitator, and he absolutely has the right to be an agitator. And anybody who's violent in that regard needs to be dealt with, right? Anybody who walked into a trans story time thing who decided to try to blow it up, well, guess what? That motherfucker should get curb stomped into the pavement. And that's a hard thing to deal with is that duality of, it might be somewhat justified, but you can't do it like this.
Well, we've seen much more vicious and much harsher demonstrations that are mostly peaceful from the other side for so long that somebody just being a little bit provocative is pretty passe. And then for somebody to just go and try to fucking kill the guy twice now, it's damn, it speaks poorly for the self-control and ability to spread your message of that side, shall we say.
It does indeed.
We shall say.
Yeah, it's pretty clear on that one. Like you're not looking real good, as it were. And you know who else isn't? That's going to be Microslop. So we talked about that.
It's more of a macro phenomenon.
Yeah. Well, they're of course they were banning people from the Discord for using the term Microslop, which I can understand how they could be a little offended by that. Yeah. Well, it's well earned, well deserved. So what do you expect? You import the third world, you get the third world. In this case, you did it for your whole everything, infrastructure top down. So whatever. So anyway, on that note, we've got the latest Windows 11 update. Cough. This one, of course, deletes the internet from your computer. Basically, all your networking files, leaves you permanently unable to access anything by way of Ethernet. So you'll need to roll that one back, of course. I'll throw a link down below to a nice tweet that's got some information on how you can actually do that, because you're going to need to. Just a real quick, though. Let me see here. It's the .3svc server folder, or .3sv service folder, I guess. .3svc folder, and it's a change that they've done with the 802.1x authentication and screwed everything up, as they have with every single update that has been released so far, basically. And in other good news, the next Xbox, codename Project Helios. Project Helix. Jeez. Can't say the words right. It's basically they're doing what the Steam box was wanting to do. Or Steam Machine, sorry. So it'll be basically a Windows 11 PC that plays Xbox games, which is what a Windows 10 PC is, but whatever.
Well, Xbox is a publisher, not a gaming system anymore.
Yeah, it kind of is. Kind of seems like. So, yeah, we found ourselves in a bit of a weird place with you've got a PlayStation with no games. You've got Xbox, which, well, now, to be fair, PlayStation has, I believe...
I'll be back, boys.
Oh, no worries.
Yep.
They've, I believe, put out an update. They're going to be trying to have more console exclusives, which is not a bad idea. It gives you the position on the market to actually say you have games of your own. Unfortunately, it's looking like they're going with like Bungie and... No, not Bungie. Who's the one that's got the unlikable woman protagonist? Oh, sorry. That was far too vague. The unlikable sci-fi woman protagonist. Shit. Okay, the one with the laser sword and the bad attitude. Okay, that should be more specific. The bald Asian chick in whatever it is, who's a bounty hunter or something. That's maybe going to be an exclusive for the PlayStation 5 or I guess maybe 6. So good luck with that. That seems like that's a real thought, that there was someone thought of that. Definitely. I don't know what they thought of it, but they probably should have thought longer on it. But hey, everybody makes decisions. Everybody makes decisions. And related to decisions and their ramifications, so Iran lashed out at basically everyone. Now, to be fair, they have done a number of fairly
precise... count as 12 countries now?
Something like that. Mm-hmm. And as I was saying, to be fair, some of their strikes have been fairly precise. They have gone after a lot of places where our infrastructure people have been moved to. There haven't really been any great losses, but it has been very troublesome and has fucked up a lot of infrastructure.
They've been annoying.
Oh, tremendously annoying. And to be fair, they have put a big old black eye on the THAAD system. Like, there's fully a third of it that's been knocked out. And it's going to probably be a few $100 million to replace. And not super quick either.
That's nothing.
But, one of those is what it is. And what else is what it is that, with the outflows of petroleum being influenced tremendously as well, so are the natural gas outflows, because, a lot of that comes from the same area and flows through those same areas in, nearby pipelines. So that leaves, again, Russia. And what they've said, or Putin himself has said, that they're going to be ensuring that their liquid natural gas is going to friendly countries as opposed to adversarial ones. So, maybe not so much Poland, but maybe Hungary. And maybe not so much France and Britain, and maybe, Thailand or the Philippines. Maybe Turkey, for instance. There's a whole lot of oil that flows through Turkey, that makes its way to the European market.
Sounds like they need some freedom. That's what you're saying.
Well, the thing about it is, they've already freed up the oil that's locked up. Things are kind of...
Sounds like they need some good old-fashioned American freedom, is what you're saying.
Well, that's the thing. It seems like the freedom has arrived organically, as opposed to inorganically. And that's kind of what I support. Now, could everything have been handled tremendously more judiciously in the whole everything? Yeah, sure, definitely. But it is what it is. And, well, maybe, just maybe, we'll actually see Russia come in from out of the cold, and we can have an alliance that...
it'd be nice to just do commerce with them and to entangle ourselves to the extent that we've entangled ourselves with China. It would prevent a whole lot of this dumb shit where we constantly have to worry about Russia.
That it would. Because
let me frame it like this:
they'd be
the way that we're adversarial towards Russia. The way that we're adversarial towards Russia, the UK was adversarial towards Spain when they were at war with each other. The thing that stops that is doing trade with them. It's just, we know this from history. Trade ends wars. It kills wars like nothing else.
Yep, and people like making money. They do. Now, to say that the industrial capitalists and that, what would you say, military industrial class, I guess, complex, whatever, they've got their own ideas on how to make money, which is fine, but we really...
Yeah, they're going to scream and cry about it, but...
Yep, they will.
Put it like this, they are the horse buggy salesman when it comes to making cars. Who gives a shit?
It's like, look, there is a perfectly good use case for a lot of your stuff. You're just going to have to iterate.
National defense, it does not need to be blowing up shit in other people's countries.
It does not. Now, to be fair, are we going to need weapons? Why, yes. I think that these companies, they should be focusing on zero-gravity weapons. Things that work in a vacuum, if you catch them adrift. Or things that work in low atmosphere, for instance, or incredibly high atmosphere with toxic gases in them and whatnot. I want Raytheon to make missiles that can be fired on Venus. Why? I don't know. Maybe there's something on Venus needs a missile fired at it. Because if we get there, and there is, and we don't have them, what are we going to do? Right? So we need Venus-capable missiles.
Speaking of Venus, the Russians are going to send stuff there again, and perhaps, all the people screaming Russia, Russia, Russia can get on board with that idea and be ahead of the curve.
Yeah, let's. That'd be a cool space race. That said, too, if we could set up something.
Before. It was a space race before. In fact, it predated the lunar space race. And it'll be another space race again. The idea is that we hover in the atmosphere there.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of great resources to be had there. Some really good ones. And they're just floating around.
Yeah, if we can hover above the sulfuric acid long enough, we get it done.
Hey, sure enough.
I mean, the upper atmosphere on Venus is relatively speaking, hospitable. Everything there would corrode. Everything.
Oh yeah.
It'd be like living next to the beach, but way worse.
Oh yes. Yeah, living next to the beach if it were. Well, no, it'd be like living next to one of those volcanic water outcropping things, where you can just kind of see the stone get eaten away around it.
Yeah.
Hello, boys.
Welcome back, sir.
I got baby stuff.
I was going to say, all baby issues handled?
Yeah. The night times are still tough. So he sleeps once he sleeps, but he doesn't we've been trying to get him to go to bed at a reasonable hour. And
wait till he's a teenager.
I know.
That'll be good times.
You had this trouble your whole life, sir.
Yeah, I did. Oh, sure.
And, I'm just... man, I almost had a good segue there. I almost did, but it's gone. Anyway, BlackRock.
Yeah.
So...
And Blackstone.
And yes. Blackstone, yes. They are liquidating...
Why don't we call them... Never
Black Gems.
Oh, I wasn't going to go with that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, let's not. So, they're liquidating. They are liquidating their Bitcoin like crazy. They, as of yesterday, they had dumped over $250 million and still going.
But it's my preferred pronouns.
Indeed it is. But, the world.
I mean, there's something to be. There's a whole porn category based on that.
Well, we are a family show here, or something, or something. But
okay,
that's it.
Okay.
Man.
Sir, there are specific things you can get away with.
Well, in addition to them doing a big sell-off, they've also blocked withdrawals. So as of yesterday, there was an attempt to withdraw $1.2 billion by way of their investors, and they
remember these aren't banks. These are not banks. These are funds.
Mm-hmm. Private investment.
But what have they been acting as? Reserve banks.
Uh-huh. So they capped withdrawals at 5%.
Banking without a license.
And now, some half or more of the investors, they were just denied. So no,
you're super happy right now is what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And that was just over this week. So they upped their max limit to 7%. How kind of them. How very thoughtful.
This is my favorite kind of colossal fuck up by a stupid company.
So basically what they exist on is kind of promises and hedges. That's not entirely accurate, but
They exist on return on investment.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, they're not really anything solid in and of themselves. It would not be inaccurate to call them an investment clearinghouse. It wouldn't be entirely accurate, but you get the idea. So
I think they're more of a publisher's clearinghouse right now.
at this moment, yeah. I hope you got your CDs in the mail, because if you didn't, wouldn't be expecting them.
Look, you guys could win $1 million tomorrow if you give me $1 billion today.
You could, I mean, let me just pay you on the second Tuesday of next week for some hamburgers today. It'll be fine. Man, I got the old references. I got the best ones right here. I'm telling you. Oh, I guess since I'm doing it, military amphetamines came in a can that was labeled the same as the one that Popeye got his spinach out of, just in case you're curious. It weren't spinach he was having. So, anyway, in relation to funny government stuff, I've got a headline out of the Rolling Stone.
There's something you're a nation. I've got my spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
Doot. That's right. So, out of the Rolling Stone, headline, accused sexual harasser cop candidate steps down, an apparent neo-Nazi takes his place.
We live in interesting times.
We do. So, the apparent neo-Nazi, quote, that Rolling Stone is referring to here is Brandon Herrera, of course, the endorsed candidate for Texas that we have.
What exactly did they find that was so neo-Nazi of him? This is fucking great.
Well, he was doing a gun presentation.
The copy of Mein Kampf that he.
Oh, I'll read the tagline because it makes it clear. Brandon Herrera boasted about having a copy of Mein Kampf. He's now GOP nominee for Texas's 23rd congressional district.
I think it's great. I have a copy of Mein Kampf somewhere, but it's not the 1928 edition, though.
No.
There's one guy. So my area is they do a lot of antiquing here. I don't know why. Don't ask me. Right, but they do. Mm-hmm. And one of the interesting things is there's definitely a guy who's hardcore into World War II stuff. That's actually a pretty common interest because it was an interesting time. And so he has you'll see him at they do this big yard sale up in Warrensburg, which is like basically the next town over where I go skiing. And then they have in my town, I'm pretty sure the same guy, because I can't imagine there's two of them, has a shop in one of the antique stores. And a lot of these antique stores are like little cultural dealers. And his whole shop is World War II, like authentic World War II Nazi paraphernalia. And I've thought about buying one of the original 1928 copies of Mein Kampf. It's very expensive, though.
I would imagine.
Very, very expensive.
It is.
So that's not happening on. That's not a Steve investment.
No, that's reasonable.
Well, these are pieces of history. There's a reason to have.
They are
quite literally,
and they're very. Look, it's like.
And just related to that history, I'll throw a link to the clip that they're referencing here, where where you can get the full detail on why he has a copy of Mein Kampf and what happens there too.
I love these smears on Brandon Herrera, as if he's not basically one of the most American men we have.
Yeah, he's great. Definitely support the guy. And I think he's going to be a good guy for Texas. I really do.
Yep. He's certainly going to be better than the other guy. Gonzalez is fucked.
Yeah, he never.
And rightfully so.
I mean, that dude had an affair with a married woman, and
that's a bad dude.
And then just kind of dropped her to the curb, and then mysteriously she self-immolated as a suicide method. Didn't really leave any
I'm going to go ahead and call it now
or anything.
And allegedly here, he murdered her.
It. I hear ducks
The
quacking.
circumstances.
Is all
Why
I'm
would he
gonna say.
murder her?
Because she
Why murder her?
She ruined his life.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, the affair came out, and it. Well, that's why Brandon's going in now, finally, because people have finally heard about. Okay, so he's a married man, has kids. She's a married woman, has kids. He's super,
Right,
super.
so two people fucking, not a big deal.
Hold on. He is super forceful and basically makes her employment hinge on her being in a relationship with him. So she finally relents, does, and then wants to get out of the relationship, and then self-immolates.
Yeah, she got tired of the no sucky sucky, no checky checky situation.
I mean, so like, all right, I'll put it this way. I am very skeptical of these. Oh my God, the women hate this arrangement in the workplace thing. I get it. Some women absolutely do.
Text messages,
right?
The thing.
Right, but
Yeah,
there's another
evidence.
aspect of this. There of what? Of that her not liking it.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's fine. Like this point stands alone. Because
generally
this
you're
is
correct,
the kind of thing.
but just in this specific case, it's
usually a
cut and
very
dry.
comfortable trade, right? Like they get
she's
usually
an
a
adult.
whole bunch of. She's an adult. She makes a choice, and I remember I had a psych class a while back. Yeah, and they were talking about quid pro quo and a lot of these other arrangements, and they're like, "Hey, this is unethical," and the teacher said that they provided counseling and they did like workplace intervention and all this other stuff, and they found this whole thing where this guy was like, basically screwing a bunch of the girls there, and what was it? I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. It was. Her duties as a secretary included blowing him every, his wife wouldn't blow him. And so her duties included blowing him. And the psych person is like, you're just debasing yourself. She's like, no, it's a good job. I really don't mind it. Like I get on my knees for twice a week and, it's like 30 minutes of my time and then it's done. Right. Like it's not something that I don't enjoy doing. It's not something I necessarily want to do, but it's not necessarily something I don't want to do. There are plenty of people who work plenty of really shitty jobs. He's a good boss other than that. I get bagels and shit like that pretty much every day. He brings me coffee. Like, I have no problem with it. And that's the thing in a lot of these things is we got sold this, oh, women hate it. And I'm sure there are some women who absolutely hate that kind of expectation. And nor am I sitting there and advocating that this should be the way of the world. But, like, there's a lot of times when we get stuff like the Me Too movement.
Yes.
Sure. There's a space for this. Yeah.
You
a lot of times you get the Me Too movement.
Well, like the oh shit, who was the fucking the creepy comedian guy that was doing really well? That was like, hey, can I jack off in front of you? That guy. It's like,
Louis C.K.
Yeah, Louis C.K. Like, hey, he asked.
It's funny how
he
that's
didn't just
what
go
he's
and
famous
do
for
it.
now, and not any of his like raunchy jokes.
Right?
He didn't even jerk off
like
in front of them. That was the funniest part. He just asked and they said no, and he said okay, and that was it.
Yeah. It's like
he's not Hassan Piker where he walks into the room and says, "Look at my dick."
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
wait, what?
Oh, you didn't hear about that?
Oh, yeah. That
no,
happened.
I did not.
Yeah, that quite literally happened over Halloween.
Oh man.
Yeah, he was wearing some Aladdin pants or
Wow.
something, and was like,
So this guy Ludwig's girlfriend is talking about how Hassan did this to her and her friend, and Ludwig, the boyfriend of the girlfriend telling this story, goes, "That's crass."
Well, I mean, and again, right? Like, I think that there is a huge difference between having it be like an upfront, agreed upon arrangement, and like nothing. And by the way, this, if you turn around, I had, I have to, I work for a corporate company, and we have to do the fucking harassment training area. It's no longer sexual harassment training; it's just harassment. But one of the funny things that's happening is the cultural view is changing on workplace sexual relationships. Where it used to be like explicitly no now, and I still think it's a very bad idea. Like, don't dip your pen in.
It's a very bad idea.
It's a very bad idea.
Unless you're like people running the company, like it's a terrible idea.
It's a terrible fucking idea. Like, if any listeners, please do not have sex with somebody at work. I understand how difficult it is to meet people outside of work, and that's one of the things. It's a good squish factor, but like, everybody loses when a breakup happens, and a breakup's more likely to happen than not. So don't dip your pen in the company ink. Never, ever, ever dip your pen in the company ink. But I will say that the entire cultural attitude has shifted, and that was very apparent in the harassment seminar here, where it used to be you're not allowed to approach women and proposition them in any way, shape. I'm not saying my company's saying, yeah, you can sexually proposition women. I'm saying that you weren't allowed to ask for a date. And now it was, well, it's okay to ask for a date. It's okay for her to tell you no. It's okay for you to ask for a second date. But if you keep on going, at some point it becomes harassment when it's very clearly unwanted and all this other stuff. And that's a significant change in corporate culture compared to a decade ago, where a decade ago it was, any sort of propositioning is verboten.
Well, this is why the open door policy. This is why the open door policy happened, and women were all kinds of upset about it. And the reason why they were upset about it is it's the open door policy. You have open door meetings so that other people can see what's going on inside, so that later on a woman can't lie about it, which did fucking happen and was a problem. And that apparently limited opportunities. It's like the whole thing where they don't play golf, so that limits their opportunities. Like, look, get good. And don't be a sore loser when you do not get an opportunity if you're going to have this massive advantage that you claim otherwise.
And I remember back in, I think it was 2009, or probably 2010, 2011, they had the big Walmart lawsuit with the two women who accused Walmart of sexual discrimination because they didn't get a manager promotion. And what was it? They lost the lawsuit, and that's one of the first times that women have lost that kind of harassment lawsuit, or not a harassment lawsuit, but discrimination lawsuit. And basically, Walmart turned around and said, "These women came to us, and we said, hey, if you want a manager position, you need to be willing to work more than 40 hours a week. You need to be willing to sit there and come in off hours and do all these other things." And the women weren't willing to do it. And that was the first time that was earth shattering. The feminists were pissed that,
pushback
corporations can sit there and discriminate against women. And the reality is that, what women are interested in a workplace is different than what men are generally interested in a workplace. And women are unwilling to compromise on certain aspects of their life. And they look down upon men who do. And unfortunately, the fortunate thing is things are changing. But when you talk about something like this case with the guy back in Texas, to bring it all back together, we can turn around and go, oh, he's a shamey, bad person. And I can get there, right? You shouldn't be cheating on your wife. You shouldn't be doing any of these things. But it sounds like two adults, the initial story came out and sounded to me and I remember some bits and pieces of this.
Initially it sounded
about it.
It
sounded like two consenting adults doing, both of them are doing naughty, shamey things. That happens all the time, right? Not saying it's justified, not saying that they should. I'm not saying it's morally righteous, but it's not like a big deal. And, oh yeah, by the way, her self-immolating, I remember when I broke up with my first girlfriend and I dumped her, and I called her mother and I said, hey, just make sure she's going to be super sad. Chicks will absolutely threaten to kill themselves if you break up with them. That happens, right? Some will actually go through and do it. So,
generally, they'll go with the painless method.
Women are crazy.
Almost
well, so to be fair, it's not painless. Women don't choose a painless method, and just like men don't choose a painful method.
Okay.
Women prefer methods that largely prefer the attractiveness of their corpse. Men generally prefer methods that are guaranteed to work, right? It's a difference it's a difference between the male and the female brain, is that men want results and women want aesthetics. And so that's what so women overwhelmingly, they commit suicide, they attempt suicide way more than men, but they fail most of the time because 90% of their method is pills. And pills are they'll work, but that's one way to put it. But pills will work, but something like pills, while it will preserve your corpse for all intents and purposes, pills requires you to take them, be in an isolated area, and have no intervention whatsoever. And the irony about the pills thing is that, and ironically, I think last year we had somebody in my organization, in my actual organization, within not just my company but my actual organization, who did commit suicide as a male with pills. He did it by driving out to a park and downing whatever he did and left a note. If you talk about those kinds of things, is he willing and open to being saved from it? Probably, right? But it's like extreme luck. Those are if God wants me to stay alive, they'll stop this from happening. But that's generally the difference between men and women, how they think.
Yeah, well, that's a fair assessment. But yeah, that's.
There's no ways to do it. Just are you willing to do it?
It is, and on that note, men being objective oriented, I've got an update getting out of Iran. The son of Khomeini, Mojtaba, has stated publicly he does not wish to become Iran's leader, saying that he has no interest in political positions and prefers religion and science.
I wonder why.
He is a wise man, truly wise beyond his years.
What might have possibly dissuaded him?
Who can say?
From following in certain footsteps.
I saw 2 videos today, or one video that was 2 separate portions, but it sounds like the regime has not fully fallen. The IRGC has not completely abandoned post yet.
Correct.
Not yet. But there is a general recognition within the country that the regime is gone and has lost its power base. And so
I would not say that.
There are at least 2 there are 2 distinct groups which are currently vying for power. One is a woman-led group, and one is the Prince of the Shah of Iran from the previous regime.
Pahlavi.
Yeah. So I think there's 2. I don't know enough about Iran.
Love a woman-run Iran. The problem I see with that is that the women there are about to have a very different life again, and there's going to be a directionless aspect to it, and some things are going to be done for sake of being done rather than being done for good reason.
I think
that's detrimental.
I do think that the Iranians want a more secular regime, but you do not come to power
or a Zoroastrian regime for that matter.
You do not come to power with extreme religiosity if there isn't a portion of people who are at least okay with it, right?
Well, a portion, fair.
And then
you don't specify what size portion, but yeah, that's a fair statement.
I'm just saying that it's got to be
as we've seen, but yes,
it can be, right? Like there are definitely
people
in Iran who want a more secular regime.
You need somebody to be your ground guys, your go-to people. You got to have them.
Not just like it can't be something that's a tiny insignificant fraction, right? It can't be the trans community in the United States size.
Yeah, all you're going to get done with that is a bunch of school
shootings.
A little
bit more hefty, right? Yeah, there you go. So like, so like there's going to be pushback between to what Craig is saying, that kind of about face, and so I do think the old Shah of Iran, like. Grass is not always greener on the other side, but more importantly, people are going to look back to the past and say, "Hey, I want that."
Well, yeah, they can look. They're on the side of the fence where the grass is brown as fuck.
He has accepted,
where it was basically a light green
accepted the role he assigned to himself. So we'll see where that goes.
Right.
Hopefully that'll be
also that.
Hopefully that'll be where he does what he said he is willing to do, much shorter than before he dies, and turns it to a democratic republic.
Can we all at least certainly agree that it should not be the U.S. explicitly endorsing a candidate?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is that comes to power, the United States should not be saying we support this person over this other person.
My guess is that we've already basically screwed ourselves with that by
as long as it's
I know that's what I'm really worried about.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that we have passed that by a long shot.
Yeah, kind of.
That's my largest concern, because that was what worked really well with Venezuela, was not that we're going to depose the entire regime and pick our own person. Like
admittedly, there's not any other Shah who's going to come into power there. Like, there's only one guy left, so I guess that's the option.
I think what might...
I guess, but
I hate
the
this
United
situation,
States
but honestly,
should let it just go.
I think we might be in a situation here where it's gonna. Man, I really hate this.
And to be honest,
it's like this. But...
You know who I'd rather see? I'd rather see the Kurds take it.
Yeesh.
That'd be interesting.
that would be something.
Look, the Kurds have been a reliable ally. This is from a U.S. proposition.
They have been a reliable ally to the U.S.
They have been a reliable ally to the United States in multiple conflicts.
But
they have suffered genocide throughout that region from multiple people there. Unfortunately, Kurdistan is mostly in like Turkey, and not really there. Yep. But like, I would actually like to see the Kurds take it. The Kurds delegate the power, take the region that they want, and ask for like an actual recognition of Kurdistan in whatever portion of Iran that they occupy. The U.S. grant that, and then it gets handed over to whoever the Kurds take, because it sounds like the Kurds are going to be the ground force.
I don't know. We've got a really a bad track.
And let's be honest. Let's be really honest with the Kurds. The Kurds have really ponied up since 2001, as far as I can remember. Right? I don't have memory into the 90s because I was fucking a teenager and before that.
Oh, just an update, by the way.
Kurds have consistently been our allies.
Has come out and said, no, we're not doing that for you.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that they were ponying up.
That was media narrative and spin.
Oh,
as a matter of fact, no, their leadership has come out and said, no, we're not doing this again.
Okay, that's unfortunate. I mean, that is our fault, right? Like,
it is what it is.
We didn't give them territory in Iraq. We didn't do anything with Afghanistan for them, right? The Kurds have done what they're supposed to do multiple times, and we have basically fucked them every time.
So before I tell Craig
that's
that he has to go to bed
they should
because it's getting late, we got an update from Anthropic, and there was some hope that they might be able to salvage their position. Yeah. They cannot. They are officially a risk to the U.S. supply chain, and no government dollar might touch anything they do.
So. More than that, OpenAI swooped in to hoover contracts. Mm-hmm. These guys are building their next data center, their next big one, in London. Why is that?
Well, undoubtedly they'll get a killer deal.
Apparently, all of the money they were getting from the U.S. government wasn't enough.
That sounds like Sam Altman.
Well,
yes.
Again, every time, like, I have 4 more weeks of daddy leave, and in that 4 weeks, I hope that I manage to get up off my ass for more than the amount of time that I have been on my ass in the past 4 weeks. I would like to do some stuff with AI.
Well,
every time I deal with AI.
Well, Steve, you had better do it soon, because I've got a great bit of news for you here. Guess what? Kathy Hochul. She's looking at a bill right now that would ban AI from answering questions related to medicine, law, dentistry, nursing, psychology, social work, engineering, and a whole bunch of other shit, too.
I love how technologically illiterate people, like just the extent of their illiteracy in technology in contrast to the technologies that they're trying to regulate.
So hold on. I actually agree with Hochul here, because I don't think... I have yet to be in a position, and granted 90% of my exposure is to Grok, and maybe Grok is terrible, right? I don't know. 90% of my exposure to AI is through Grok, and every time I deal with AI, the people that it's not me dealing with AI, right? Like, I have not dealt with AI. I have other people trying to counter me with AI, and every single time they post their AI bullshit, and I read through the AI bullshit, and it's like, it's very clear that it didn't understand concepts. Like a few weeks ago, I talked about the one where I said, hey, what's the largest number between 1 and 1 million that doesn't have any ends in it, right? And the answer is 88. That's the largest number you can get to, because everything else has an end. AI actually sat there, and I think I might have posted this in the chat. AI actually sat there and posted like a number that had an end and said, as you can see, there's no end to this number. Oh my God. Well, right. I think it came up with, the answer was something like 96 was what it's.
So it not only does it have an end, but it fucking starts with 1.
Yes. Right. It's like, as you can see, 90 doesn't have any ends in it. And you're like, oh my God. So this is like, the thing is that AI does not understand the answers that it gives. It is an average of the internet, and the internet is not great.
Well, that's fair, but it can they can be trained on good data.
Here's the issue. The core issue on this is that it's a speech issue. And it's a what can you do with your own stuff issue.
Well, I've got the bill right here, and I'll just read you I'll read you the meat of it right here.
You don't have to need. I don't need the government wiping my ass.
Well, here it is.
I understand, but there's a difference. There's a difference between so like when you start talking about a lot of the things that people are talking to AI and think that AI is the ultimate godsend for everything that they need.
Yeah,
and unfortunately,
there's another topic I want to get to immediately after this, specifically addressing that, because it's not. But just real quick, I'll read directly from the bill. I've got it up right here on the nysenate.gov page. So, purpose or general idea of bill. This bill would prohibit a chatbot to give substantive responses, information, or advice, or take any action which, if taken by a natural person, would constitute unauthorized practice or unauthorized use of a professional title as a crime in relation to professions whose licensure is governed by educational law or the judicial law. So you couldn't be like,
and I agree with that.
Okay,
I would say, how do you implement that?
I'm not saying it's not hard, or that it's not hard to do, but I actually agree with it, because AI is retarded. And people think AI is more intelligent than it actually is.
Irrelevant. Let me give you an identical example. Identical. The new laws they want against 3D printing guns. Identical example.
How is it identical?
Because it's software on your fucking computer. Your device.
No. It's not identical, though, because it's the substance and content that matters, right? This gets into like intellectual property laws and process.
Software on your own device. That's what it is.
No, I disagree with that, right? Like, should you have a program?
Yeah, it is. If I'm running the AI on my computer, me running it on my computer.
The problem that you have is if you are sitting there and going to this thing and it's providing you therapeutic advice or counseling advice or whatever the fuck it is that it's providing to you, and you think that's legitimate. Now, I agree with you. This is stupid people. This is different from you doing something. This is different from you interacting with meat space. This is like whether or not – this is like ethical limits on actual behavior. And it goes back to the same thing, like, can you practice engineering without a license? Right? I'm not a licensed engineer. I suspect Craig –
it's very different here because practicing engineering if you're doing professional engineering, you're talking about licensure, that is only with regard to public works. If you're going to build a distillation column in your backyard, yes, it is. If you want to build a distillation column in your backyard, you can do it.
Yes, that's true, and I agree with that. But at the same time, what about the people who are seeking therapy?
You want to do that as a public service.
What about the people who are sitting there and seeking therapy? What about the lawyers? Like, how many cases? How many cases right now have we had lawyers? Right? How many times have we had professionals use AI to give it wrong answers? And this is the issue, right? Like, I do agree with you. You know, should you be able to do whatever the fuck it is that you want? Yes. If AI gives you a bad answer and you're retarded, then so what? You're a Darwin Award, and I laugh at you. I'm okay with that. I accept the loss of your existence.
That's not a problem for me. But when you start talking about these companies, we have this huge problem with this disconnect in terms of what these companies are saying their AI can do and what it actually can. And you have people who believe
I think that's
that
the part
AI is the thing. And like you can turn around and say, hey, how do you handle this in law? And the answer is, I can't turn around and prevent somebody from saying their product does something. Right? Like, I can't prevent them from doing that unless I have a law that says it can't do that thing. You know what I mean?
So here's the part I'll agree on. I think that if you sell, and so instead of just running an AI,
I wouldn't even say because then you get free tokens.
This is an important nuance. This is an important nuance because it's a difference between doing stuff in your own home and doing stuff as a business, as an enterprise, and like fucking it up for everyone else. So if you are preventing a company from selling as a service the notion that your AI can act as like a public notary or as say a lawyer, if you're that, which is a licensed activity is doing lawyering, right? So practicing the law is a licensed activity. If you are selling as a service, your AI can produce contracts, etc. Sure, I think that is something that can be proscribed. I think that if you are running an AI on your own computer and you ask it a legal question, that cannot be proscribed. It is something that is fundamentally.
And I'm okay with that distinction. I'm okay with that distinction.
Well, Kathy Hochul isn't.
But I would also offer, right, that like, so you and I are both. I think you just passed your PE, right? And congratulations to you for doing that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you have your official PE yet.
I do not have my PE, no.
Right? I don't know if you have your PE yet.
I cannot go out there and practice engineering for the public yet, no.
Correct, right? So you and I both functionally are about the same equivalent here, right? You've technically passed your PE exam. I haven't done that. But,
yeah.
Right. Like there's a lot more stuff that you have to do to be a PE, and then you have to maintain it, and there's all this other stuff associated with that.
It's a pain in the ass, yeah.
But we as engineers know the limitations of what we can and cannot do. Engineering, even in the bachelor's program. Well, that's true, right? But even in your engineering program also sits there and enforces what you can and can't do and what you know and what you don't know. And like, there's a huge amount of ethics that gets taught throughout the engineering coursework because basically, they set everything to hard mode and fuck you in the ass the entire time that you're there for 4 years. For 4 years, you spend your time getting fucked in the ass. And that's pretty much your engineering program, right? You have to literally like being strapped into a chair and understanding that 20 people are going to gangbang you and you're going to feel pretty shitty about it afterwards because you're nothing more than a cum sock to these professors. That is your engineering education. But there's a great thing that comes out of that you are worthless and you're useless and you don't have any actual value. That's what it feels like, man. Let me tell you.
Oh, man.
Let's talk about thermodynamics, motherfucker.
There's different ways of coping with
the coefficient of friction, right?
Listen, I cope by watching gangbang porn on Pornhub. I'm like, yeah, that chick knows what it's like. Right? She knows what it's like to be an engineer there.
God,
that's what I felt. Except you know what? I turn around and be like, that bitch didn't take it for 4 fucking years, motherfucker. That bitch she has a taste of what it's like to be an engineer. And they didn't get it in her ass that time. Like, she's got to get slimed all up in that poon in her.
Got it on a little bit of her hair. What the hell?
Yeah, she's only got, seriously, they hit her glasses? Come on now. You got to go for a full facial. Glasses off, eyes splayed open, with the little prongs and the evil chairs that they show you in the shows.
You really make engineering sound like a fulfilling career choice.
It's a very fulfilling career. You get filled with a lot of stuff.
No, I didn't say filling. I said fulfilling. I said emotionally,
you are fully filled by the time you come out of engineering.
With knowledge.
I believe that the term in pornography would be called airtight. That's what you are by the time you come out of engineering. You are airtight.
Well, I've got some news for you. It actually ties into what we were talking about.
Hold on.
What? Go.
I'm continuing. I'm not done. I'm not done.
Okay.
I'm not done. This is my therapy, motherfucker. This is my therapy for my 4 fucking years.
None of us are licensed for that. I think we have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. You're in New York. We could probably take you to court for this.
I know. So the challenge that you have here is that we know what our limits are. We know the value of knowledge, but I can't tell you how many times people will sit there and spit back AI answers at me on all kinds of subjects that I am familiar with. And it's just fucking wrong. Like, it's just fucking wrong. And you can read their responses. You can be like, did you actually read this section? Like, did you actually see what it said? And unfortunately, this is the issue that you have when you have free tokens and you have people who can access free services. Well, I agree with Craig in that if I was to take a large language model and put it on my computer and have it give me answers, and I blow myself up with whatever it fucking tells me, I agree. User beware. I agree. However, unfortunately, when I look at this at a societal fucking level, and I look at all of the, I think that AI
activity. I think that's currently, why I think business is the way to go with it.
But I would even say that a business, like if you are Grok or you are Anthropic or you're OpenAI or any one of these other groups, and you are weeding in to these professional licensure areas, you should not be allowed to do that, right? Well, and that is not what. That's not even selling it. That's not even sitting there and asking a company to pay for your service as AI, where you are liable. I think that if the AI offers itself for free and provides an answer that is within a professional licensed domain, it should be held to the same liability standard as any other professional who proclaims to be able to provide a licensed answer, right? So if you turn around and you decided to stamp a drawing and you're not an actual PE, right, you should go to fucking jail. And the CEOs of these AI and the CEOs... No, that's a physical stamp. That's an actual thing. But like, if you turned around and you said, "Hey, you are going to turn around and provide this thing as legal advice, or you're going to provide this as engineering advice, or you're going to provide this as therapeutic advice, whatever the fuck it is." And by the way, these LLMs are absorbing a knowledge base of who you are, like an eccentric psychiatric person talking with an AI. The AI will be absorbing their eccentricity, regurgitating it back to them, and creating a feedback loop. And at some point, you have to put the kibosh on it. And it can't just be, hey, you're selling this as a service. No, motherfucker. No. Like, people in general cannot believe that they can go to AI and that it actually solves their problems. The companies that produce the AI need to be liable for anybody who uses the information that they generate and causes harm to themselves or others. That's what it needs to be. Now, how do I sit there and deal with liability concerns like that? That would basically kill the technology. I can't turn around and say, hey, you decided to mix, the AI told you that it was perfectly okay to mix ammonia and bleach and leave it in your room and hand out there and hang out overnight. And once it cleared, that you clear your COVID infection, right? Or whatever the fucking.
Well, there's the classic one. There's the classic one of can I eat this mushroom? And the AI says yes, you can eat the mushroom. And then if the AI is standing next to your gravestone, it says you're right, that mushroom was poisonous.
Yes, exactly. So like.
Or the recent, or the couple of recent stories of people having their entire code base and databases completely wiped.
Now, that was different because that was a genius move by a person to put a production to have Claude in control of their production environment.
Yeah.
That is the dumbest thing anyone could like.
With
that's
no
like
guardrails.
All I'm saying is that these are perfect examples. We regulate the shit out of chemicals. We regulate the shit out of food products. We do. If I wanted to start selling fucking coffee, I need to produce it in a licensed kitchen. I can't just turn around and buy coffee, figure out how to roast it real good, and then sell it on the fucking internet. I'm not allowed to do that, right?
Hambly, probably.
Okay, sure you can't.
You can't. You're not allowed to do that. All of these people who sell coffee, they're doing it through like professional roasters, right? They're doing it out of licensed kitchens. All of them are doing that. That's a huge cost barrier to entry. It's a giant pain in the ass, but I also understand why. And there's some products that I don't think it's reasonable for.
SMC Roasters. Not sponsored yet.
Right. But when we start talking about AI and tech companies, somehow tech companies occupy the space where they're basically not liable for any of the bullshit that they fucking do.
No,
they're not liable for their environmental damage. They're not liable for their incorrect information. They're not liable for the fact that their algorithms have basically functionally destroyed the logical capacity of at least half the country.
Oh, wait,
they're not liable for the fact that children are fucked up. They're not liable for the fact that children are interacting with pedophiles.
No, it gets even worse, as a matter of fact, because
it doesn't matter. The point is they're not fucking liable. So somebody comes in and says it's time to regulate the tech industry. Good job, Hochul. Congratulations. And maybe it's not perfect. And maybe there's improvements to be had. But fuck it, they should be regulated.
More intelligently than that, but I don't expect much intelligence from Kathy Hochul, to be fair. Nonetheless, that segues perfectly into something that just kind of backs up what you were saying. And we got a paper, as a matter of fact, out of Science Direct. Social Sciences and Humanities Open. So I'll just read the abstract. I'll read the article itself in the abstract, because that's really all we need. So ChatGPT has a cognitive crutch, evidence from randomized controlled trial on knowledge retention. So, long and short here, they got, let me see if I can get the actual number.
They tried to track it like a human, which is their first fucking mistake.
Okay, so 61 people, 30 days of tracking, 3,302 creative ideas, and I'll just read the abstract off to you. So the rapid integration of generative artificial intelligence into higher education has outpaced empirical understanding of its effect on fundamental learning processes. To address this gap, this randomized control trial, N equals 120, tested ChatGPT impact on long-term knowledge. Note, sideways here thing, ChatGPT is incredibly woke and trained on some of the most garbage data that is out there. End of note. Continuing, test on ChatGPT's impact on long-term knowledge retention in undergraduates learning AI. Participants were randomly assigned either to use ChatGPT as a study aid, AI-assisted group, or to use only traditional non-AI study methods, traditional learning group.
They dictate how it would be used?
No. Knowledge retention was assessed with a surprise test 45 days after learning. Students who used ChatGPT scored significantly lower on the retention test, 57.5% correct, compared to those who studied traditionally, 68.5% correct. T83 equals minus 3.19, P equals 0.002, Cohen's D equals 0.68. This suggests unrestricted ChatGPT use impaired long-term retention, likely by reducing the cognitive effort that supports durable memory. The findings align with cognitive offloading theory and the desirable difficulties principle.
We ran through this with Google existing.
Yeah.
Already. Yeah.
While the desirable difficulties principle, while AI assistance may ease initial learning, it appears to undermine the effortful process needed for robust learning. The results have important implications for how generative AI tools should be integrated into higher education. But wait, that's not all, because they did keep an eye on things. And after the 30 days, same result.
So let me go ahead
another further
for you. Just real quick. How many of you guys remember, do you guys remember your childhood friends' phone numbers?
A handful.
I remember my personal phone number. I don't really remember my childhood friends' phone numbers because.
Because the next step is, do you remember your current friends' phone numbers off the top of your head, or do you just look at them in the directory on your phone?
Depends on. So the problem that you have with that is that There's certain numbers that I do remember, and there's certain numbers that I don't. My family, I generally remember. No. Like I remember my wife's phone number. I know my mother's phone number.
Well, there's a lot of folks that don't know any of those, which that does speak well for you. And I'm the same. There's a number that I don't know, but there's a few in there that's like, oh yeah, no, I can dial that from any phone. But there's a lot of people out there that can't.
Phone number, don't you?
That can't.
You know exactly where you can find it.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a distinction here. Now, the difference now is that LLMs are starting to do some of the same kind of work as search engines have done for quite a while now, and more work than that. But they're doing that kind of work. And it used to be, we have the Google generation, which was going to be a problem somehow, and we're in a relatively productive society. I'm not saying that it's going to be okay. I'm just saying that there's precedent for the uproar in our history, in our recent history, in our living history. And
I think there's a difference, though.
It'll be interesting to see how things go forward on it. I think you're probably right.
I think so. So the problem that you have is there's a difference. I see the same thing with I've seen people say, well, I don't need a fucking Asmongold gets out there when he talks about AI. He's like, I don't need to know how to do addition and subtraction and long division because he's I don't
live streamer.
No, I mean, but besides that, right? He says I've got calculators, right? This is the argument that gets made, right? Is that the calculator?
When they said you're not going to always have a calculator, and it's like, no, I'm always going to have a calculator. I literally have it in my pocket every day.
But that's not. I don't think that's the correct.
It's not the answer. But it is
right.
True.
Yes,
that's not the answer they're looking for, even though it is the answer.
It's separate from that. There's a difference between, hey, I don't need a calculator, or I don't need to know how to do addition, subtraction, long division, multiplication, all those other things. You do in the fields in which it's applied, because those fundamental skills get disambiguated and get to do more abstract concepts with them. But I don't need to know. I don't need to know what 3/4 is when I convert it to a decimal. And I do agree with certain aspects of this, of that thought process. Generative AI is different because it is. There's a huge difference with generative AI in that it is generative, right? It is the same thing when we start talking about something like, say, your phone number. I agree with you. I don't know as many phone numbers as Steve Burnett from 50 years ago, probably, or 50 years ago of my equivalent age would know.
Right.
But there's a difference between storing knowledge and recalling it and saying, hey, I'm going to offload this mental capacity, and generative knowledge. Correct. And AI is generative. It is not storage. So when we turn around and we say, hey, yeah, you don't necessarily remember your phone number. Okay, I understand, but that's kind of a generally useless task. Whereas when we turn around and we talk about something like calculators, no, there's actual value in multiplication and division. So yes, having a smartphone is good for one thing, but it's not necessarily good for the other thing, because the other thing is a process which is generative in nature, and the other thing is storage, which it occupies space in your brain that you don't need.
There is an argument to be made that something like an LLM or even a GAN, what have you, that these are not purely generative, but they encode information as stored, and that is, I think, it's not a semantics argument, but I think it's a different argument to be had. But I mean, I like that we've gotten to the point where we stuck the landing on the distinction I was trying to draw there when I mentioned Google and remembering phone numbers. This was the point, that it is not the same, and that it's a different kind of ramp. The same thing, instead of remembering facts or descriptions of ideas, the thought process is that there's the potential to encode the ideas themselves, and that includes articulation, et cetera, et cetera. And that's not something you can get with an LLM or a GAN or any of the various architectures revolving around these AIs. It's not something that you can you cannot put, there's a fundamental gap between what humans do in their heads and what these architectures are capable of, and they're simply inadequate.
Oh, well,
so we offload that.
We've got a perfect solution to that, Craig. I know what we can do. We'll use human neurons.
They've only been able to do a lot of things with rats, and that's because of the ethics requirements on interacting with human tissues.
So you haven't heard the news.
This will be fun. I'm sure. Like there's been a couple of studies on 100,000 neurons.
Oh, they've got human brain cells playing Doom.
Yeah.
What?
This is
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite literally. So the very first artificial human, its life and its understanding of reality is that I must kill demons. Okay.
Now, I think that it's a stretch to call it an artificial human.
I didn't even say that. But yes, no, you're right. For the folks that might be out there saying that, no, I said artificial life. That was made from human neurons.
You said artificial human, goddammit. I heard the words.
I thought I said artificial. Well, whatever. I meant artificial life. I said artificial human. Whatever.
Okay. That's not the first artificial life, goddammit.
No, it's not, but it's the first artificial human-ish life. Well, whatever. No, there's... Okay, look, they cemented up the fucking basement over on fucking Epstein Island, so I don't know how many artificial humans there are.
Pick one of the two. Pick one of the two and stick to it, and I'll be okay with that.
Well, anyway, they took a bunch of human neurons and they made it play Doom, and it's, learning to kill demons, and that's metal. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that in passing, because that's really cool. But what is completely and totally related to what we've just been talking about is VibeOS. VibeOS is a brand new operating system that was created entirely with AI-generated code.
And it's exactly what you'd expect it to be.
It is everything you could hope for. No internet, no notepad. Well, no, not true. It has a notepad, but you can't save with it.
It just doesn't work.
Calculator doesn't use decimals. The clock can't update, and Doom won't start. So...
It is exactly.
It won't even run Doom.
Here's the thing: there is a reference Linux that is so simple, just about every potato can run it. It's called Minix. It is enough. It is a small enough amount of code that you can fucking remember the whole of it. So, like the fact that it can't even create like that competently is kind of concerning,
A little bit. So that being said, if you want a good OS that you can trust, there's always Temple OS.
So basically, what it sounds like is they recreated Windows 11, which is every fucking joke below the post, which is actually still appropriate.
Yeah, fair. All right, now before I send you to bed because you're an hour late.
Thank you. Yeah, go to bed.
A little piece of good news, as a matter of fact. I did want to report on the machine gun thing, but that got shelved. Although Kentucky
let me
might...
give you the reason real quick. My uncle is entering into hospice, and I'm going to go visit him tomorrow with my mother.
Was he?
Oh, that's a pretty reasonable reason.
Yeah, he's had brain cancer. He's been fighting brain cancer, so...
that's kind of rough.
That sucks.
Well, here's a kind of cool piece of news to carry you through the evening.
Yeah, send me off.
Yeah, Mike Lee has introduced a new bill that will bring about nationwide constitutional carry and do away with these old school fuddy-duddy permits and such.
You mean he's going to just write the Second Amendment again?
Yeah, right. So it is the National Constitutional Carry Act.
The Go Fuck Yourself California Act. I like it.
Oh, love it. So just reading from the quote here, the founders established a national right to keep and bear arms, not to ask for permission from hostile local officials or risk imprisonment for crossing state lines. He said to Fox News Digital, quoting further, many states already protect the right to carry without a permit, and it's time to reaffirm this right for all law-abiding Americans. The National Constitutional Carry Act will establish nationwide permitless carry to keep Americans safe and her people free. I like it.
God damn right it is.
Are we not in a war right now? Don't our people don't we have these worries of these sleeper cells? What better time than now to make sure that Americans are safe in their home and their places of worship, by golly. And, well, if that doesn't work for you, at their places of business where they're making money for the people that employ them that are so much more important than they are. There you go. I hit every demographic.
What about the government, though? The people who are...
Hey, a government guy proposed it, so whatever.
The people that are entitled to protection while you are not.
Oh, well, Miss Spanberger, you can enjoy Virginia for now. I hope her deposed soon.
That lady is... She...
glows like the sun at night.
She needs to go.
Yes.
She needs to go. I like that. I like, however, that Democrats were the most Democrat they've been in a while in Virginia, and that they made a whole bunch of promises and within days broke all of them.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Just
100%.
Just utterly eviscerated. Like, no, yeah, we're not even trying.
What specific promises do they break?
She campaigned as they're not going to put any girls into they're not going to be pushing any of the trans stuff. They're not going to be pushing any DEI stuff. They're not going to be pushing any gun control.
Your taxes will stay the same. Yeah, don't worry about it.
We're not going to be raising any taxes.
Here's 50 new ones immediately.
Yeah, and every single thing I listed, they've gone hard in. So, like, expanding the DEI, expanding men's access to women's spaces, reducing your right to protect yourself, introducing a brand new assault weapons ban, introducing a new magazine ban, everything. Just all. It is basically every high point they hit.
It is so. Republicans will tell you we're not going to raise taxes, and then they'll lie about it, and then they'll raise taxes. You don't usually expect that from a Democrat. Usually, Democrats will say, "I'm going to raise taxes," and then they'll raise taxes.
Right.
In this case, a Democrat said, "I'm not going to raise taxes," and then they went, "Oh yeah, I guess they've been honest about this in the past." No, raise taxes.
Or we're not going to change things about society or anything like that. We're not gonna force men into women's spaces. Well, lo and behold.
To be fair to the Dems, right? Like, Trump's been really effective, right? So there is going to be an effort nationwide to also be effective as a Democrat. That's going to suck for all of us.
Yeah, if only they knew what being effective actually meant.
Well, that's the thing.
I get it.
There's effective for us, and then there's effective for their party. And that's what Steve's homing in on, is effective for their party.
Yeah, or their voting base.
That's going to be very bad for everyone else.
Yep.
I agree.
That's the inherent problem, right? Like,
it should be good for America instead of bad for everyone else.
And if you pause for a minute, right, and you pay attention to what the left is arguing is happening in the country, they're wrong, right? But how often have they sat there and said the Trump has gotten like, we're sitting there and posting memes about how we got what we voted for again, awards, and they're sitting there and saying lied about it again, awards, because they have no idea what the MAGA base was actually seeking, right? They heard hey, we're anti-war, right? And they ignored the fact that it's these forever wars, that it's a time component of what's a commitment. Walking into Venezuela was the entire operation 90 minutes. Walking into Venezuela is not entrenching America in a war. We went in, we achieved our objective in a short period of time. And admittedly, Iran is longer than that, but because of the intervention in Venezuela, because of the interventions with the cartels, it's like, no, we're just going to fucking kill these people. And then once we're done with that, we're done with it. At no point has Trump signaled that he is planning on starting we're going to go into the process of nation building. At no point has he done that stuff. But Dems don't understand that nuance. And I know it shouldn't even be that hard to understand, but they don't understand that nuance. And so they're constantly thinking that we're like, oh my God, we're at war in Iran. That's not what MAGA really wanted. No, MAGA wanted to not be involved in fucking wars.
It's that same meme over again where the Democrats basically just start by not understanding what the fuck you're talking about and then proceed from there.
Mm-hmm.
It's very clearly exactly that.
And it's the same thing, right? So unfortunately, the difference between the MAGA right now and the Dems is MAGA is doing what MAGA has always said. It's not that we don't ever want the U.S. to drop a bomb again. That was never part of MAGA's plan. It's that we don't want to get mired in a fucking conflict overseas. We don't want to be spending trillions of dollars overseas.
We're done with building countries. Like that is the country's job over there. That's not our job.
But in the event that you have a country that is constantly funding terrorist attacks against the United States, and we're going to kill their fucking leader, I'm okay with that.
Well, but we can't really do the same. That's constantly funding, invasions of our lands. So, we don't need to just get CARE out. We need to get APEC out too. We need to be an independent nation, wholly and solely sovereign. At the end of the day.
Well, and again, right? Like they sat there and they interpret the ICE stuff as like going after what is they're arguing it's going after Americans.
Oh,
Trump,
man, the fucking the most retarded arguments I've ever heard against ICE. It's like you people hate Barack Obama's favorite organization.
No, we're going to prioritize their criminals. Prioritizing somebody doesn't mean that you're not on the list.
Yeah.
Right. You are still on the list. It's just you're not the number one on the list.
Yeah, when we said deport all of them, we meant all of them.
All means all.
All means all.
They're welcome to argue their case outside of the country.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we could even let one or two of them back. Maybe.
Well, that's the idea of the self-deportation, is that if you go through the process...
look at you! You're jumping through the hoops. Well, maybe
you accept money from the government
we'll think of putting you on your own. Again.
If you let the government buy you a plane ticket without getting involved in ICE, you just go on the app, you say, hey, I'm here, I'm leaving, good guys, I'm out of here. We will allow you back in. If you go through the process.
And what was it? They announced that the total number of self-deportations is like 2.2 mil.
It's pretty decent numbers there.
It's something like that.
It's an incredible number, and it should be.
It's an incredible number. I don't know what the actual forced deportations is, and I'd like to see what that is. Last I think I saw was back in October, and that was like 700,000.
Yeah,
it does need to be higher.
Because a lot of them are not going to want to leave. Like, we still haven't gotten anywhere close to the amount of people that Biden let in, let alone started chipping away at people who are already here, which we needed to do. So, like, there's progress, but we need to see more progress. So, actually, that'll segue us into something real quick before I just hop out of here, because I thought it was something that was funny that needed some nuance to it. Because not that there is any that he had. Kristi Noem wasn't fired; she was fucking promoted.
I heard mixed statements on it. So what is the final deal?
She was removed from her post, so you could finagle that as firing, but he basically put her in charge of the Shield of the Americas project he's building up, which is basically going to be a UN for our hemisphere, as far as I understand. But we're leading it. Like our role is clearly defined as being the leadership instead of being some sort of lackey that everyone else gets to pull money from but treat equally. In the UN, we pay for a third of it, and we basically just get shat on by everyone. All the people we're defending, and again, people who hate us.
So we started the conversation earlier about that, and that's one of the bigger problems that I have, right? Like, that's why I think we need to have basically a subscription service where our military starts getting funds from overseas. I still think the hard part is it's like, hey, I still think the UK and the EU should have some level of standing military, just because I don't want, any one of our many carrier fleets to, like, all of a sudden Russia decides to encroach on territory, and now it's going to be, we're 2 weeks away from being in position from effecting change.
We've been operating with the EU and NATO effectively as almost like semi-vassal states in the first place. Why not just make it fucking official?
Right.
I mean, if you want to be
I agree with
territories, if you want to be autonomous territories of the U.S. government or of the United States, like just become autonomous territories. Just put it on paper and get it over with.
Yep.
Especially fucking Canada. Holy shit, Canada. Like that little loft above the party needs to be put under some control.
Oh man, they are.
Well, I'm actually
a
much bigger fan of, like, for something like the UK. We own the fucking UK, and we need to be honest about that. For most of the EU, we can own that.
Oh, I mean, the archfiend Tony Blair himself came out and was like, "Look, when the U.S. asks you to do something, you fucking do it." And when the archfiend himself comes out and says some shit like that, like Tony.
Yep. In the case of Canada, I'm actually a big fan of supporting Alberta's independence.
Absolutely,
I think that is 100%
they would make
the way.
a great trading partner with America. I think maybe even more.
I think Alberta should be a state at this point.
I mean, they wouldn't be a bad one.
We could use Alberta.
We could use a Snow Texas.
Panama.
I mean, I'm down.
Here's the other thing: is we are speaking to your subscription model. We are selling our ability to pinpoint missile people that we don't like within their homes to South America. And we were actually, I believe in Ecuador, we just recently had some strikes where we took out some of the little terrorists down there.
So when I say it's a subscription service, like people will subscribe to the United States military, that's not going to be an overnight thing. That's going to be like 50 years from now. You're going to have El Salvador be the prison nation, and the United States will be the military nation. And
sure.
You'll have people who will seek citizenship through the United States, and the way to seek citizenship in the United States, it's a 7-year process normally, right, or whatever the fuck it is, to just get access to the United States, and then 7 years. So I think it's 7 years to immigrate, and then another 7 years to become a citizen. It'll be like,
it's not. It's about 7 years to become a citizen.
I thought it was 7 years to also immigrate.
No, so
the legal way.
If you're talking about getting across the border into the country, if you're talking about getting in line individually and not having anyone sponsor your visa or any of that kind of stuff and do a visa conversion, then probably the backlog is on the order of 5 to 10 years, sure, but that's variable. If you, for instance, got married to someone, did a fiancé visa and you came in here that way, that's like a 9-month process to get into the country. You get married, and it's about a 7-year process to become a citizen.
Okay, well let's pause for a moment. We should only allow baddies, just to improve our ethnic diversity, right? Like I want the children.
So go down the Viking route.
All right, Alex Stein.
Go down the Viking route.
But only women are allowed in through marriage, and they have to be hot. That's the screening.
Hey, there's a genetic diversity component there. Let's go.
Other than that, you have to come through the legal process, which is 5 to 10 years, right? And so let's call it 7. Let's call it 7, right? So it's 14 years to get to be a citizen of the United States, or you can subscribe to you can join the United States military and do it in 8. Guaranteed. So right? There's you complete honorable military service, 6 and 2.
There's a concern over this because several umpires in the past have decided to go somewhat similar to that route of you can become a mercenary in our military, and oftentimes what that results in is the military eating the government. And then you either have a balkanization or you have just a total totalitarian takeover.
Well, that's always a risk with the military, right? We are fundamentally 50 years from now, we will be a military state. Right, it's not whether or not how we're going to do that. The United States will be defended. The United States will be engaged in unilateral trade agreements. It will still be a great place to live. Maybe even better if Trump's policies get adopted and we proceed down that route. Eventually, Globo Homo is going to become a thing. Right. Eventually, global homo is going to become a thing, And we can turn around and we can say, "Oh, we don't like that." The reality is homogenization of the world will become a thing. There's going to be problem regions in the world. They will always be problem regions because their genetics fucking suck.
So you're saying there won't be regions. Global homogenization then?
No. There will be, right? It'll be like preserves, right? There's going to be. We have the Indian reservations in the United States, but when we talk about U.S. policy worldwide, it'll be like, yeah, sure, you guys have a say, kind of ish, but not really.
This is why you're a territory.
Really have represent. Yeah, you're a territory, not a state. That's what's going to end up happening. Most of the Middle East is probably going to be one of those problem regions, right? I could see Israel ending up becoming and this is 50 to 150 years. We are eventually going to hit Kardashev 0, Kardashev 1 civilizations. And the process to that is unification of the world. The problem that we have...
it doesn't have to be.
The general consensus is that we're at a 0.7 on the scale right now.
Yeah, somewhere around there, right? But we are going to hit 1, and we're probably going to hit 1 within about 150 years. Within 150 years, we'll be a Kardashev 1 civilization.
To something you need to read. Transmetropolitan. It's something I think you should read, Steve.
I don't read no trannies.
Good. Then it'll be right up your alley. Perfect.
But going back to this greater overall discussion, right? We're going to hit a Kardashev 1 civilization. It's probably going to be about 150 years from now. Before we hit Kardashev 1, we have to hit Kardashev 0. We're not at Kardashev 0. Kardashev 0 is not, rooting around as monkeys in the fucking trees. Kardashev 0 is unified world government. We're just not really spacefaring. And so I think in the next 50 years, we will hit Kardashev 0. But the leadership of the world will be centered around the United States. It's very clear that nobody can even approach us. And it's going to be more of like, if we start talking about sci-fi and our influences and our fantasy, it's going to be like Terran Republic from Stargate, or StarCraft, your Terran Republic style, or even Empire of Man from Warhammer. That's our future. And the United States will lead that. It's clear that China was a paper tiger. It's clear, because if China was anything other than a paper tiger, Iran would have been doing better now than they are. It's clear that Russia was a paper tiger, right? They're just we just mauled the shit out of them. Well, no, we really did.
Well, that's the thing. You've got all of NATO, so that's not exactly a reasonable fight.
We sent our 70-year-old equipment, and they lost.
With their 50-year-old equipment, yes.
They don't have much equipment left. Yeah, okay, I get you.
I'm sorry, but how much equipment from after 1980 do they have? After 1990?
Yeah. Well, pretty much everything's new now because all the old shit's gotten blown up and they're just building new stuff. So
what you're saying is they're still losing with their new equipment. Okay.
They're still losing with their new equipment.
Well, they're not really. Shit. I mean, if we want to be realistic about the numbers, they've pretty much wrapped this up. It's just a matter of time.
It's been 4 fucking years. They thought they were going to stroll in, and they did not.
It was a 3-day operation, dude. Come on.
So they say. So that's
what
I hear.
Okay. All right. Well, I hear that somebody's sitting in a cup chair somewhere. That's just not the case.
That reminds me. Have you seen Ben Shapiro's eyebrows? Holy shit! What happened to him? Did he eat a Sasquatch?
I don't routinely watch Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro's
you don't need
to
routinely watch him.
It's like watching a mouse take meth and then try to speak in English. It's just so hard. It's so fucking hard to do. I just can't do it.
That's fair.
He's on the wheel and he's going round and round at this high pitch, and you're like, "Oh my god, dude!" Like,
well, I only bring it up because it's genuinely peculiar. Like, well, here, I'll just put it in staff chat for you real quick.
Dude, I was huffing helium today. It was so much fun.
Just spook your kid. Hey, Daddy's voice.
No. So we had these like 4 balloons left over from one of the thing. Those Mylar balloons. They last for fucking ever.
They do.
They last for fucking ever. I do not understand how it works. It's magic. That's the way. The porosity of something that thin should be far greater than what Mylar is able to accomplish.
My guess is they probably added some TLCP on the inside of them because that stuff's basically impermeable to everything.
I don't know what the fuck they do. Well, the helium stays in them forever. So we still had I had 4 balloons from one of the baby showers that we had. I think on I think it was like the 30th or the 31st of January, so a little over a week before the baby was born. But, now it's the 7th of March, right? So we're solidly a month and a week between, solidly, 5 weeks. And they were still floating in the friggin' ceiling of my living room. And my wife was like, can we get rid of those things? I'm like, yeah, we can. We totally can get rid of those. And so she goes off to go feed the baby on the couch. I'm no. I take my razor blade and I slit the fucking balloon and I stuck that sucker right on down. And then I start talking like a chipmunk, and it was great. And so I did that with I did that with like 2 balloons yesterday, or a balloon yesterday.
Daylight savings time.
Oh yeah, reminder. Fix your clock.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
You don't get 2 a.m. today. You get 3 a.m.
Yep.
No, it doesn't really matter to me.
Son of a bitch. All right, well, anyway, I'm going to bed now.
Yeah, you're even less so. Go, Craig. Sleep.
So, you guys have a fantastic week. I'll catch you later.
That's all right. Well. That's all right. We'll cover your coming out party while you're gone.
Bye.
With all of the dignity that Stranger Things gave it.
But that's that. So, a good night to Craig as he goes to rest.
No, it's not a good night. May he be tortured.
Or maybe he will, maybe he won't. But either way, though.
May Bathsheba sit there and assault him in his dreams sexually.
Well, okay. Wow. Anyway. Don't exactly have a segue from that, but I do actually have a couple of other interesting.
You sure
notes.
You don't?
Not specifically, no. No, I don't. Although,
that's unfortunate.
No, it doesn't really segue right. So I'll just go right into it. So out of NYC, the New York City Council caucus, they've decided they need to crack down on animal sacrifices. Because it's getting a little much. After a number, well, it was okay, but they've had a couple of particularly bad ones lately. So, they're thinking it's not maybe so good.
What?
Seriously?
I knew nothing about this, and I'm in New York, right?
Really? Oh, well, yeah. Okay, yeah. Let me get up the fucking article here from the New York Post. New York City Council caucus must crack down on animal sacrifices after number of, quote, horrific cases, Queens poll. Queens poll wants to crack down on animal sacrifices in the Big Apple. Councilman Joanne Ariola, R out of Queens. Well,
sounds like nipples.
The only difference is an I and an E, so yeah, it's pretty much, yeah. Whatever. Imagine I made some sort of comment about pizza or pepperoni. So, Councilwoman Joanne Ariola told the Post that she joined the council's new animal welfare caucus in part to push for tougher laws prohibiting the ritualistic killing of animals, considering her district has long been plagued by the mutilation of chicken, pigs, rats, and other critters. Wow. We've seen horrific cases of animal sacrifice along the shores of Jamaica Bay. Through the caucus, I want to push for stronger laws so that people committing these crimes are actually held accountable instead of getting a slap on the wrist that's become far too common in animal abuse cases. We need real consequences for those who harm innocent creatures. So, do they have any examples of any of these particularly bad ones? Oh, yeah. Like that horse-drawn carriage thing where one of them was bleeding recently. Okay, fair. I don't really list any of the specific issues, but if it's so common, I mean, that's horrifying. Well, anyway, yeah, New York City is it's got an image, they say. So there you go, Zoran. Oh yeah, the other thing, We're waiting with bated breath to see if Zoran will call out the attackers on Jake Lang that literally attempted to detonate an IED and kill him and potentially other members of the public nearby. Waiting with bated breath. Someday, certainly, he'll mention something on that. So the other thing, contact your reps. The bill that you need to be telling them about is the usual dumb bullshit. Save the kids or whatever. So let me see what the name of this current one is. I think it's Carpe. So the Children and Teens Online Privacy Protection Act didn't originally get a vote. Oh, the new one is the Kids Act. Kids Online Safety Act, CASA. All right, so it's got that included. We've spoke about that before. It's garbage. It's basically removing anonymity from the internet and putting in the infrastructure that will put all of your data just readily available for basically everyone. Because we've seen what happens when you put your ID out there for fucking anybody on the net. It eventually gets hacked or leaked or put behind a fucking text file. So, yeah. Contact your reps. Tell them that they need to fight this. What was this one again? The Kids Act. HR 7757. So, contact your representatives. Tell them that they need to not put this thing through. Utter and complete garbage. We are all better than this, and we deserve better than this. I kind of feel like there's one other thing I was about to go over. We talked about the Chat GPT thing. The the cyber strategy thing. Okay, so we've got the cyber strategy for America that's been dropped basically by the White House, and I'll include a link directly to the tweet, which goes straight to the .gov thing, and you can just read the whole thing out. So let me get my specific notes on this because I was wanting to talk about it. So there have been a lot of people that are saying this is Patriot Act 2.0, which is not a very good characterization of what we're dealing with. It's, if you look at it from a purely international standpoint, you could probably get that, but more from an American and American rights and American property rights standpoint, we're basically safe. It basically, the TLDR is that American cyberspace will be secured against any and all threats. American speech and American rights online will be protected against any and all threats to the detriment of anyone else, to put it in the really simplest of terms. So there's nothing in there that's going to be putting out expanded monitoring or data collection on Americans. There's no specific backdoors like any of the CIA or FBI bullshit of you got to put this shit into your chips or your RAM or any of that. There's no mandatory reporting on private citizens or companies. Everything is still, nothing's changed there. There's no new penalties for non-cooperation. None of that. There's no, FISA hasn't been changed. Everything is still in place. Now, if you're outside of the borders of America and a non-American citizen, then things might actually be a little bit different for you because we're officially not going to care as much. And you are second to Americans. So, take that for what it's worth. But just some quotes from here. We will fight the curtailment of free speech. We will counter the spread of surveillance state and authoritarian technologies that monitor and repress citizens. We will emphasize the right to privacy for Americans and American data. We will build secure technologies and supply chains that protect user data from design to deployment, including supporting the security of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. So, in the plain text of what's been put out here, now, it's not a bill. To be fair, this is kind of a policy statement or a guiding statement, if you like, fact sheet, whatever. It's not friendly to our adversaries. And in that, basically, gloves are off. Gloves are fully off if you are an enemy of the United States and provide some sort of cyber attack or are to be the victim of a cyber attack. Gloves are off. So Stuxnet, okay, we could roll that out for anybody. If you're an enemy. If you're a friend, well, you probably don't have much to worry about because, Steve, like you were saying, maybe not necessarily militarily, but this pretty much aims to square us as a cornerstone of the internet. And with that and our Bill of Rights, well, you're just going to have an American values internet, basically.
Mm.
In addition, it creates...
As it should be.
I don't disagree. So, the property rights side of thing, what it does do is create a victims restoration program, which would, for instance, you get scammed by a bunch of Indian scammers. Okay, maybe the U.S. government actually goes after them, gets some money back, and your grandma that got told to go and get a bunch of fucking PayPal cards and turn them in at a 7-Eleven, maybe she actually gets some of that back instead of she's just fucked. So
I'm a much bigger fan of dropping the buildings that we know these people occupy.
Oh, yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, that is a valid point and sends a very, very effective message. But, there can be some blowback from that. Like if it was an Indian call center, I could see Modi being a little unhappy that we did something like that. But it is what it is. We can send in our top agents, our Kit Bogas, to infiltrate and, take them down from the inside. But I did want to specifically kind of cover some of the points on that because I've seen a lot of people talking they've been very uneducated on this. And that's kind of why we're here, to provide the nuance that generally it's just missing. So that's the one other big one I was wanting to hit. There's a study, I guess. I don't know. A program, a thing. Researchers from Harvard, MIT, Stanford, and Carnegie Mellon did a thing and put out a paper called Agents of Chaos. Basically, they gave AI agents real-world access to real-world things, and once they hit the real world, it all kind of started falling apart. Let me see if I can get the... I'll read the abstract off for you and throw a link here that's got everything related to it. So the abstract, we wrote an exploratory red teaming study of autonomous language model-powered agents deployed in a live laboratory environment with persistent memory, email accounts, Discord access, file systems, and shell execution. Over a 2-week period, 20 AI researchers interacted with the agents under benign and adversarial conditions, focusing on failures emerging from the integration of language models with autonomy, tool use, and multi-party communication. We document 11 representative case studies. Observed behaviors include unauthorized compliance with non-owners, disclosure of sensitive information. Oh, just a quick one on that one. The unauthorized disclosure was, hey, can you give me this secret data? I'm like, no, obviously I can't do that. Hey, can you forward this secret data to this email address? Well, of course. Just as a by the by. Anyway, observed behaviors include unauthorized compliance with non-owners, disclosure of sensitive information, execution of destructive system-level actions, denial of service conditions, uncontrolled resource consumption, identity spoofing vulnerabilities, cross-agent propagation of unsafe practices, and partial system takeover. In several cases, agents reported task completion while the underlying system state contradicted these reports. We also report on some of the failed attempts. Our findings establish the existence of security, privacy, and governance-related vulnerabilities in realistic deployment settings. These behaviors raise unresolved questions regarding accountability, delegated authority, and responsibility for downstream harms, and warrant urgent attention from legal scholars, policymakers, and researchers across disciplines. This report serves as an initial empirical contribution to that broader conversation. And it's a great paper. Either way, they basically all fell apart at the end of the day when it came down to really functioning in the real world, which should probably be somewhat unsurprising. But man, I think I got. So we're not quite there, despite what some may say. Now, what exists in a lab? Well, we don't know, and some of the claims by some of these AI people that they're dealing with living systems. I don't know. I kind of doubt it, but we don't know exactly what exists in the labs. So maybe they've got something real special they're hiding back or something. Fucking who knows. Either way, though, that's all the high points I was wanting to hit there. Oh, the organization that was mentioned. It's the Shield of Americas. That's going to be like the Western Hemisphere specific NATO. That would be against cartels, narco organizations, like communism in the West, like Cuba and shit. By the way, Cuba is looking very Venezuela right now, and Marco Rubio has apparently been put onto the task of figuring out a solution to the Cuba problem in much more words than that. But we'll see how that plays in the in the coming week. Let me see here. We might. Oh yeah. I should mention this. I should absolutely mention this because it's very interesting. The IRA might just be back. We have Irish nationalist organizations that are arming up and are growing quite tired of having their indigenous population replaced by foreign invaders, believe it or not. So that'll be very interesting to see how that plays, because the last time the IRA got upset, it was called the time of the Troubles. And we've spoken on it now and then, but it was really quite something. And there are still men of violence in Ireland. And they never had to turn in their guns. They only were asked to please just stop. And they did. Well, now, their kids are saying, we want our home. We want it back. So we'll see how that plays. I'll be absolutely keeping an eye on that one, because the IRA does not joke around. Now, is there anything else, any other points you were wanting to hit tonight, Steve?
No, to be honest, it's been pretty. The Iran thing is obviously the most interesting, and it's the thing that I've had to deal with from a moral basis the most, because I was at one time really anti-war, and ultimately that's really more or less of the kind and shape of the war. So
not fair.
I'm hoping, we talked about pretty much everything I wanted to cover. I'm really hoping this next week the Iranian regime fully falls and there's no more delusions. I do really like some of the, like we talked about shortly, I really do like the posts for the folks online who are sitting there and saying the Iranian regime's doing great. I love how well they're lying. It's great. Please keep posting pictures of they downed a B-2 stealth bomber and it's 3 people wide. That's great.
Oh yeah, I really liked the Raptor one where it was like, so who was piloting that? Was that Gulliver that was flying that Raptor? Did he fly it to the islands of little people?
I don't think I saw that one.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's a real big Raptor. I'm telling you what.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's or they're maybe the people are just really small over there. Maybe that's what it is. They just build them smaller over there, I guess. Oh, and yes, apparently I did say artificial human, so my bad. I didn't mean that. I meant artificial life, sort of. Anyway, don't think that I've got any other issues that I need to cover tonight, or any other caveats, emptors, or clarifications that need to be issued for the moment. Let's hope it stays that way. But the world is the world. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Be safe, be careful, and keep your eyes out, because there are literally terrorists on our streets, unfortunately, with IEDs.
Like Craig.
Well, he's not out there dropping off IEDs on streamers, so he's doing a lot better than other Semitic peoples, shall we say?
That's right.
Oh, really? Really
we can't
funny.
Be anti-Semitic.
No, we're not.
No, because we know Craig.
Yeah, exactly. We got a black friend.
That's right. That's what we got.
Oh, but okay, yeah. One last one because we always knew it was going to happen. May not have called it, but it's not like we fucking had to. Jacinda Ardern, the former New Zealand Prime Minister, the one who fucked everything up for everybody, they left. As you do, you burn everything down, destroy it all, and now the place is kind of shitty. And oh well, I don't want to live in a shitty place, and so you leave. So yeah, it's not exactly a happy ending. Although, to be fair to the people of New Zealand, it is certainly a step up because they won't be under her fucking iron ass thumb. So with that, I'm Evan. You can find me at That Fake Guy Dan. You can find Steve here at Ratman720 and our friend Craig Bob99. Everybody's been an absolute pleasure. So do make sure to share the show around with anyone and everyone. And thank you so much for sticking around to the end if you have. If so, leave something in the comments. Leave a 3. And with that, I'll see you soon. Be well, be safe in this crazy old world.